What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories.
5 id. Chapter 96. Gather Marina 4. The boy who wants to find his father. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe. Close black lens bracket. Advertise here. The bright moon is in the sky. The bright moonlight falls. Hee hee, teacher, actually I knew from the beginning that the cloak is not the teacher's thing and the teacher's true identity. As the girl crane spoke, she diligently helped Roger's back. How did you know? Roger shook his head helplessly. I thought I had everything under control. In the end, he was controlled by a little girl. He is indeed a Marine chief advisor with unparalleled wisdom and scheming. Even if she is still a young girl, she cannot be looked down upon in the slightest. The simple thing is the smell. It is true that the smell of Teacher Roger is mostly on Tia Vice Admiral's clothes, but you can still smell it vaguely, the smell of Tia Vice Admiral. As for the identity of the teacher, it's better to guess. It's better to say that the teacher told me yourself. The girl crane said proudly. So Xiaohei, you sniffed that cloak seriously, 463. This is the behavior of a bitch. Roger smiled back. Well, the proud smile on the girl's face faltered. Her fair and pretty face flew up into patches of red clouds. At the same time, a dangerous sight came from the side. Vice Admiral Tia's slender hands fell on Roger's waist. I really can't tell. Roger, you have a habit of teasing little girls. Tell me honestly, how many girls have you teased behind ice and eyes back these years? Tia asked with a smile. Ah ha ha ha, what the hell, Xiaohei is my disciple. Roger was serious. Change the subject decisively. So Xiaohei, after knowing that I am not a Marine, are you still willing to be my disciple? This is not a matter of course. I have been Teacher Roger's disciple from the beginning. The girl crane said matter-of-factly. Then let's start tonight's practice. Tia, please give me some guidance first. I'll go catch a fish in the sea and cook a feast for you. After Roger said this, he quickly got up and went into the sea. Quote. Vice Admiral Tia clenched her little pink fist. Regarding Roger's rogue behavior, in the end he just shook his head feebly. A bright bonfire lights up the night. Because of Tia's arrival. Roger did not torment the girl until dawn. End the day's practice early. Full of wine and food. Teacher Roger, Vice Admiral Tia, I will help you arrange accommodation. The girl crane stood up. No need. We will take care of the place where we live. Roger waved his hand. Xiaohei, please go back and rest first. Let's go to Naval Headquarters tomorrow. Tia said. Okay. Goodbye teacher. Goodbye Tia Vice Admiral. The girl's eyes lit up and she ran away happily. Half an hour later. After simply washing up, the girl he suddenly thought that something had fallen. Hurry back to the back bank of the practice to search. There was no one on the empty beach. The girl who found something was just about to leave. Cemetery. Her ears caught some sounds in the wind. The sound passed away quietly. The fair and pretty face of the girl crane gradually turned into the color of an apple. Even if you haven't seen it with your own eyes, you can probably imagine it. I did not do it on purpose. The girl, he whispered, covered her face and ran away quickly. Roger. Being caught by a junior disciple, Tia couldn't help but blush. I told you not to. The next day, dawn. Two sensational news spread at the Marine G6 base. First of all, the arrival of Tia, Vice Admiral of our headquarters. The second is the arrival of the legendary hero Director Roger Shirayasha from Impel Down. Tia, Vice Admiral from Naval Headquarters, and Director of Impel Down, the prison, are here together. It's unbelievable. But why? What Vice Admiral Tia said is understandable, but why is Sheriff Impel Down in G6? According to rumors, Vice Admiral Tia and Director Roger are here for Xiaohei. Yes, it is said that Xiaohei has been accepted as a disciple by Director Roger. Ahem, is it true? I'm so lucky to be spotted by two big shots at the same time. Of course it's true. This can explain clearly why Xiaohei's 6 styles have improved by leaps and bounds in a short period of time. Because his teacher is Mr. Roger, the founder of the 6 styles. Alas, is the director of Impel Down the founder of the 6 styles. Of course you young people don't know these past events, but I know it because I was one of the first recruits to receive training from Master Roger back then. Really? Instructor, please tell us more legends about Sir Roger. Ha ha ha, okay, but you have to be mentally prepared. There are many legends about Director Roger. Amidst the discussion among the Marines of all sizes at Marine G6 base. The warship belonging to Vice Admiral Tia slowly set sail. Haha, what's wrong, Xiaohei, is it because you are reluctant to leave? Roger touched the girl crane's little head. No, it's not. The girl crane shrank her head weakly. My mind unconsciously recalled last night. Immediately his face turned red again. Really, stop bullying Xiaohei. Tia rolled her eyes at Roger and quickly took the girl he back to the cabin to rest. Roger smiled and said no more. A week later. Warships sail into the Crescent Bay of Naval Headquarters. After meeting and discussing with Marshal Raymond, Roger received permission to take the girl crane back to Impel Down. At the same time, it's not just Xiaohei. Marshal Raymond also politely sent several other carefully selected naval elites to the ship, intending to let Roger bring back the Impel Down doctrine. Roger naturally had no objection to this. Just after seeing a certain boy with an afro on the boat, Roger was stunned at first, and then couldn't help but laugh. Isn't this Sengoku boy, plus future Marshal Sengoku? The future Marine F4 is alive. Come on, little devils, get ready to go to hell. 3.6. At this moment, New World, a poor island called the Sphinx. A 14-year-old boy wearing a felt hat looked back at his dilapidated hometown for the last time. Dad, I can't wait 10 years no matter what, not even a moment. Please forgive my son's willfulness. The look on the young man's face gradually became firm, and he resolutely got on the boat and prepared to embark on a journey overseas to find his relatives. Brother, Boss Newgate, please take us out to sea together. On the coast of the Sphinx, several half-grown children shouted at the top of their lungs. Sorry, everyone, the sea is too dangerous. With my ability, I can't take care of you. But please don't worry, I will definitely come back. The young 14-year-old, Whitebeard, boy Edward Newgate clenched his fist firmly. Chapter 97 4 years. Garp Sengoku Xiaohei Zephyr is out. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. 4 years have passed by so quickly. Time goes to see circle calendar 1466. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Deep sea prison, Impel Down. 6th underground floor, eternal hell. Wake up, villains, this is my iron fist. Garp roared with great momentum. Really, stop yelling, Garp. Afro head Sengoku complained. Iron body, armed. Zephyr's arms were crossed, and a faint air of armed color was entangled. See and hear the color. A red light flashed in the eyes of the 21-year-old girl, her jade feet touched the ground lightly, her graceful figure danced like a butterfly through flowers, dodging all attacks. This is the daily training of Marine F4 today. Since 2 years ago. This is the beginning of practical training for the 4 Garp players. In the 3rd year, the opponents are the prisoners of freezing hell on the 5th underground floor. This year, it was upgraded to eternal hell, the 6th underground floor. In constant actual combat, F4's strength is also rising. The strongest among them is still Garp. Not only are the 6 styles fully mastered, but the armament color and the knowledge color are also grandmaster. 23 following Garp is Afro Sengoku. Sengoku's talent is not low to begin with. In the past, it was just because there was no guidance from famous teachers. Now, under the guidance of 2 famous teachers, Roger and Old Cook. His 6 postures are also great. Armed colors and observation hockey are also mastered. Slightly inferior to Garp in terms of attainments. Next is the 21-year-old girl hockey. Armament hockey is slightly inferior, but observation hockey is particularly outstanding. The last person at the end of the crane is naturally the youngest boy, Zephyr, who is 18 years old. Needless to say Garp, Sengoku and Xiaohei are also being trained more or less as seed-level players at Marine Base. In contrast, Zephyr is a complete monk. Before Roger found him, he is just a 13-year-old boy who knows nothing. These 5 years, Zephyr practices harder than anyone else. Not only did he learn the 6 postures, even the 2-color hockey is a preliminary master. Progress is not unpleasant. It's a pity that it started too late. After all, I still can't catch up with Garp and Sengoku. But given time, he will inevitably come from behind. After all, he is also the man with admiral appearance that Roger likes. The 4-on-4 melee in the Eternal Hell combat arena on the 6th underground floor lasted for a full hour. On the stage, 4 Eternal Hell prisoners fell. PFF'd ha 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 ha. Garp's proud laughter came. Ha ha ha. Sengoku and Zephyr also smiled. The relatively reserved girl he couldn't help but reveal a hint of joy on her pretty face. Since the weekly Eternal Hell arena battle started a year ago. After 48 battles, they finally won their first victory. And it's a beautiful victory. This is naturally something to be happy and proud of. After all, this is Impel Down Eternal Hell, qualified to be imprisoned here. The last time was a big pirate with a bounty of over 200 million. It is naturally not easy to defeat them. And defeating them also represents something extremely important. Teacher Roger, Teacher Tia, Teacher Cook, Teacher Ace. Garp, Sengoku, he and Zephyr looked at the 4 teachers in the 4 corners of the arena. Roger and the 4 of them nodded in unison. Kids, you are all qualified. Roger grinned. That's great. Garp and others jumped 3 feet high with joy. Okay, go back and wash up quickly, get ready to celebrate. 17. Miss Witch clapped her hands and spoke. Everyone, get ready to eat the cake. 11-year-old girl Linlin cheered happily. Walk. Old Cook waved his hand and led everyone away first. Roger walked to the lounge chair not far away and patted old Macaw on the shoulder. Oh, is it over already? 80-year-old Macaw suddenly woke up. Macaw, I have to trouble you to clean the floor next time. Roger said. It's okay, go ahead. Old Macaw stood up. He looked at the arena in amazement. If you can still stand up, come here to get your lunch box. No one answered. Macaw waved her hand. Several guards returned the unconscious prisoner to his cell. At the same time, they were provided with a sumptuous dinner. These are the rules of Eternal Hell this year. As long as you participate in the arena battle. No matter you lose or win, you will get a reward of a full meal. Certainly. The premise is that the girl Crane cannot be hurt. Otherwise, you will encounter a mixed doubles match between Roger and Miss Witch. Occasionally, if Vice Admiral Tia is there, it will be 3 dozen. This condition is only for the girl Crane. As for Garp, Sengoku and Zephyr. The skin is rough and the flesh is thick, so it's okay to shed some blood. Hey, old Macaw, it's my turn to fight tomorrow. And me, remember to make the meat more spicy tomorrow. I want ramen. Several inmates scheduled for tomorrow's shift made their own demands. Old Macaw glanced at them and was too lazy to speak. Starting from tomorrow, this eternal hell will return to its original appearance. Impel Down, 5.5 floors underground. Garp, Sengoku, Xiaohei, Zephyr, congratulations on your apprenticeship. The young jailers of the large prison raised their glasses together to celebrate the successful launch of Marine F4. PFF'd ha 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 ha. Garp laughed happily. You will go to Marine tomorrow to report. It's just a little bit sad to say goodbye like this. Ooh, the Crane Goddess is leaving. Brother Zephyr, protect the haze. Tonight, let us not get drunk and never return. A night of partying. 137 the next day, early in the morning. The warship arrives at the Impel Down gate, carrying Old Cook, Vice Admiral Tia and 4 young men and women to the naval headquarters. The disciples are about to take office. Is it really okay for you, the teacher, not to go and take a look? Miss Witch looked at Roger with a smile. It's okay, they are not children anymore, let them walk the rest of the way by themselves. Roger waved his hand freely. Originally, it was in Roger's imagination. As his disciples, after the 4 Garps arrived at Marine, they had to find higher-end positions. With Garp's strength, becoming Vice Admiral is basically no problem. It is more than enough for the other 3 to get a Rear Admiral. But Old Cook and Tia haven't said anything yet. The 4 Garp people were the first to speak, saying that they did not need special promotion and would just follow the arrangements of the department. Naturally, Roger would not object to the disciples' decision. As for the headquarters, Park Commander Raymond also decided their military ranks early. Garp and Sengoku are colonels of the headquarters. Xiaohei and Zephyr are majors in the headquarters. Not high, not low, most suitable. As new school officers, the 4 Garps and other promoted school officers received a learning opportunity. The content of the study is not combat, but the current situation in the New World and the pirate groups that need attention. This time, very lucky. The person responsible for analyzing the situation for the new officers is none other than one of the highest strength of the headquarters, Kong Admiral. Chapter 98 John, Silver Axe, Akoku, Overlord Rocks and Newcomer Roger, please subscribe. Advertise here. Naval Headquarters, Conference Hall. It's about to start. Sora Admiral's lecture. Absolutely not to be missed. We are so lucky. The school officers who were promoted to the headquarters this year all clenched their fists with excitement. In contrast, Garp, Sengoku, Xiaohei and Zephyr were much calmer. As Roger's disciple, naturally, they are already very familiar with Admiral Kong. Not to mention a small training, they didn't know how many times they had received advice from Kong Admiral. After all, Kong is an admiral and a junior of their teacher. In a sense, he is their senior brother. Hey, friends, which Seahai branch are you from? A school official noticed the COM F4. We came from Impel Down. Garp replied carelessly. Impel Down, isn't that the deep sea prison? Are you the jailers there? Many school officials cast suspicious glances. Thinking that Impel Down's jailer can also become a school officer. No. A local colonel from the headquarters suddenly stood up excitedly. They are real geniuses. Garp, Sengoku, Crane Goddess, Zephyr, remember me. Garp looked stunned. They recognized the colonel who stood up as the same student who had left 2 years before them. 12 people who entered Impel Down in the same batch as Sengoku and Xiaohei. 10 people left after just 2 years. The rest is F4, which is focused on training. It's Aesop. Sengoku replaced Garp and said the name he had not thought of for a long time. Mr. Aesop, long time no see. Zephyr greeted with a smile. The girl who was as cold as an iceberg still just nodded calmly. Just this is enough to make all the young school officials fascinated. The position of the Marine Goddess this time is none other than the girl Crane. Crane Goddess, please. Another school officer at the same time just wanted to express his feelings. Admiral is coming. Empty Admiral. Ta. Clear footsteps echoed in the auditorium. Admiral Kong, who is 3 meters tall, stepped onto the podium step by step. Wow. The cloak of justice flutters. New people. Kong roared with anger. Yes. Everyone responded in unison. To become the captain of this headquarters, you need to understand one thing first. Next, you will not only have to face the miscellaneous fish from all over the world, not just the pirates in the first half of the Grand Line, you will also have to deal with the guys from the New World. Have you all come to your senses? Kong grinned. Yes, Sora Admiral. All the school officials responded in unison. Very good. Let's start. Kong nodded. 30 years ago, our Marine seniors, you are well known as Carl Vice Admiral who co-created the Six Styles, former Marshal Orlando, former Marshal Mr. Cook, and Sister Tia who is now the Vice Admiral. Coming. A story from 30 years ago. Garp looked excited. 30 years ago, that was the battle that made Teacher Roger a hero. Young Zephyr's face turned red with excitement. He has heard about the war 30 years ago from various seniors countless times. But every time I hear it, my blood boils as always. Because that is the hero he longs for. Of course, in addition to the above-mentioned Marine seniors, we must not forget the current director of Impel Down, Roger Chester. He is not only the founder of the Six Styles, but also played a vital role in that battle that year. It plays a vital role. It can be said that without Uncle Roger, there would not be today's peaceful days. He is the hero who saved the world. Admiral Kong's impassioned speech. All the school officials were excited to hear this. Ahem, sorry, I got a little off topic, so let's get to the point. The battle 30 years ago established the peace for the next 20 years, but the sea cannot always be safe. The pirate forces that have suffered heavy losses have shown signs of rebounding in recent years, and in this era, the situation we have to face may be more severe than the previous era. Snap. The projection function of the phone bug is turned on. Several astonishing reward orders appeared on the big screen in the auditorium. The first thing you should pay attention to is the 3 big pirates who are now occupying New World. Captain of the John Pirates, bounty of 1.63 billion berry, Captain John. Next is the captain of the Silver Axe Pirates, with a bounty of 1.46 billion berries. And the captain of the Akoku Pirates, the Bearded Akoku with a bounty of 1.59 billion berry. If the 3 of them were 30 years ago, they would have been among the 6 kings. Wow, the sailors who had never seen such a high reward were in an uproar. The last thing is the real priority. He is a remnant of the old era. He was a monster genius under the command of Dark Uranus Beckett 30 years ago. Now he is a man who has a tendency to become the only overlord of the new world. His name is Rox D. Zebek. The bounty is 3.354 million berry. Snap. Red-haired crazy Rox, bounty is projected on the screen. Wow, the shock and uproar among the Marine officers in the audience escalated. With a reward of 3.3 billion, this is the only terrifying figure. Okay. After a while, Kong then continued. Of course, in addition to these big pirates, there have been many potential new pirates in New World in recent years. First of all, there is Golden Lion Shiki, the admiral of the Flying Pirates. His ability is the Paramesha Lion Fruit ability. Although he has only just obtained it, don't underestimate the potential of this ability. He will definitely be Marine's enemy in the future. Quote. Then there is the Timberleaf Pirates. Not long ago, they were a little-known pirate group, but recently they have joined a powerful partner, and the investigation about that person is still ongoing. Lastly, but also the most important thing to pay attention to is this new team. Snap. A new projection of the pirate group. Roger Pirates. Ah. Garp's eyes widened and he suddenly stood up in shock. Chapter 99. Garp is getting married. My son Longdu was born. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. The regular meeting of school officials is over. The new school officers left in 2s and 3s. Before the above assignment comes down. Impel Down F4 is still acting together for the time being. Garp, you guy, why did you get sick again before and suddenly screamed? Sengoku looked at Garp with a strange expression. Even if we are familiar with Mr. Kong, we can't do this. Zephyr said seriously. PFF'd. Ha 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 ha, sorry, I couldn't hold it back just now. Garp rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. Roger Pirates. Gal D. Roger. Born in East Blue. Card, are you familiar with that Roger? The wise girl he made an inference based on the clues. Haha, Roger and I are acquaintances. How come? We don't know each other. How can Roger and I know each other? Garp denied it 6 times. Never reveal the relationship between himself and Roger, as well as the relationship between the teacher and Roger. After all, that guy Roger became a pirate, and he got special attention. If exposed, there will be a lot of trouble. Only. Garp, who has never lied, was eager to hide his lies at this moment, which was naturally as grandiose as possible. Not to mention the smart girl Crane, even Zephyr and Sengoku could easily see through Garp's guilty conscience. This guy definitely knows Roger from East Blue. And the relationship may be quite profound. PFF'd ha ha ha, the weather is so nice today. 830 Garp tried to change the subject. However, it only made the atmosphere more awkward. By the way, I suddenly remembered that something seemed to have fallen behind. I'll take the first step. Garp greased the soles of his feet and slipped away on the spot. 10 minutes later, some corner of the headquarters. Call. Garp wiped the sweat from his forehead and sighed. What a risk. I was almost exposed. Ta-ta. The familiar sound of high heels hitting the ground sounded. The girl Crane walked out of the shadow in the corner, arms folded. Xiaoxia, Xiaohei. There is no one else here. Tell me, what is your relationship with that new guy Roger? The girl Crane asked calmly. It doesn't matter. I have nothing to do with that guy. Garp looked up at the sky and whistled guiltily. For a long time. Xiaohei, don't ask, it will be very bad if this matter is exposed. Garp clasped his hands together and begged. So that's it, that Roger is also teacher Roger's disciple. Xiao he spoke. Alas alas. Garp was so shocked that his eyes nearly popped out of their sockets. Xiaohei, how do you know? Can you read minds through what you see, hear, and see? I guessed it, but it seems I guessed it right. The girl crane smiled. Xiaohei, you deceived me. Forget it, that's it anyway, I will only tell you one person, Xiaohe, you must not tell anyone else. Immediately, Garp told the girl crane about the fate between himself, Roger and his teacher Roger. Don't tell others, it will bring trouble to the teacher. Garp cautioned. Who do you think I am? I am also the teacher's disciple. The girl he smiled and left with brisk steps. Oops. Garp shook his head and left. 10 minutes later. Boom. Sengoku corners Garp. Here comes a domineering president-style Waldong. The negotiation lasted 5 minutes. That's all, Sengoku, I will only tell you about this matter to one person, and please don't tell anyone else. Another half hour. Brother Garp. Young Zephyr smiled and stepped forward. Okay, anyway, Zephyr, I will only tell you this matter, and you must not tell anyone else. Wow, it's all because of you, damn Roger, I will definitely arrest you. Garp said firmly. A sneeze, a sneeze, a sneeze. A certain young captain who was adventuring in the New World sneezed 3 times in a row. Time flies. In the blink of an eye, another 2 years have passed. Time goes to see Circle Calendar 1467. 2 years is neither long nor short. Enough for many changes to occur. During these 2 years, Impel Down F4 has won the respect and trust of all sailors in this department, CDBD, with its own strength. The duo of Garp and Sengoku followed Admiral Kong throughout their travels and repeatedly accomplished extraordinary feats. Now both are promoted to Marine Rear Admiral. The girl Suru was unofficially designated as Vice Admiral Tia's heir from the very beginning. If you join Marine, you will naturally be on Tia's ship. Although there have been many missions in the past 2 years. In terms of combat achievements, they are still not as good as Garp and Sengoku. The position is just one level higher. Now he is still a lieutenant colonel in the headquarters. Zephyr, who is under the command of another admiral, is still at the rank of lieutenant colonel. Early 1467. Promoted to Marine Rear Admiral, Garp gets a chance to return home with glory. At the same time, Roger also left Impel Down again. Go to New World. This time it is still for the 10-year appointment. It's no longer Roger and Garp, but the boy on the island called the Sphinx, Edward Newgate. 10 years ago. See Circle Calendar 1457. Roger once went to the Sphinx Island. There I found a tough 10-year-old boy living in the slums, Edward Newgate. That is, the great Poseidon who will be famous in 2 eras in the future, 4 emperors Whitebeard. Same as East Blue. Roger found the young Whitebeard, and naturally he wanted to become a disciple. With Roger's rank, the process of recruiting a disciple is very easy. Even Roger hasn't mentioned it yet. The young boy Whitebeard came to his door and wanted to go to sea with Roger. Of course, everything goes smoothly. There was also a small problem during this period. That is, young Whitebeard doesn't play his cards according to common sense at all. He didn't call Roger or Garp his teacher. As soon as he came up, he called me daddy. Suddenly happy to be a father. Who can withstand this? Regarding Whitebeard's special habit of saying, "Come be my son," to everyone he meets. Roger is of course very clear. It's just that he has no interest in being a casual father. Originally, Roger planned to bring Whitebeard back to Impel Down for training. As a result, Roger changed his plan because of this call. After all, if you really take it back, this time the issue about the illegitimate child is really hard to explain. If Tia and Miss Witch got into trouble, even Roger would be a little bit into it. The 10-year appointment has arrived. Roger came to the Sphinx as scheduled. However, the boy who chased him and called him daddy was no longer there. It had already gone to sea 4 years ago. What a careless son. Roger shook his head helplessly. I searched in New World for 2 months. Having found nothing, Roger returned to Impel Down. Time has come to the end of Sea Circle Calendar 1468. This day, Roger, who was in Impel Down, received an invitation. From Garp. This is Garp's wedding invitation and Sun Long's full moon wine. Chapter 100 Garp's wife. Luffy's grandma. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. East Blue, Kingdom of Goa. This is a kingdom in the remote sea of East Blue. In the northeast corner of the kingdom. A small corner separated by a big mountain. There is a small village. Windmill Village. From a long time ago, this place has always been a peaceful small village. Because of its remote location, the pirates didn't even bother to visit. The villagers in the village live a farming life from sunrise to sunrise. Everything was so ordinary and peaceful. Until 2 years ago. This ordinary village finally became something extraordinary. Because the first big shot appeared in the village. Naval Headquarters Colonel Monkey D. Garp. And at the beginning of this year, Garp was promoted to Major General of the headquarters. This is the greatest pride of Windmill Village for hundreds of years. Now, it is the pride of the village, the most important wedding day of Rear Admiral Garp. All the villagers in Windmill Village moved together. The village was decorated with lanterns and colorful decorations, making it very lively. Yoshi, everyone, hurry up and move. Hurry up and hang up the lantern over there. Marine's big shots will be arriving soon. Be sure to give a good welcome. Slap, a young man several years older than Garp, commanded. Slap, is there anything you need me to do? Garp rubbed his hands. He has always been carefree. At this moment, he was unusually nervous. Restless. Because for him, this wedding was too unexpected. Everything was caused by the drinking at the beginning of the year. Garp, who was promoted to Rear Admiral, got a chance to return home in glory. The villagers prepared a grand reception for him. The end of the reception. Garp was also drunk. He was helped home by a girl who ran a tavern in the village. And then, that's all it is. Of course, for your marriage partner. Garp will not be dissatisfied at all. Because that's his childhood sweetheart. In the past, when he was injured on hunting adventures in the mountains and forests, the girl would always bandage and treat him. When he became the Rear Admiral of the headquarters, the person he most wanted to share this joy with was that girl. I just like it. He clearly agreed to wait until he became Vice Admiral before discussing marriage. But everything happened so suddenly. Just like that, you win the lottery once. Now the sons are all born. Of course, Garp also has to shoulder the responsibilities of being a husband and father. Ha ha ha, Garp, you don't need to do anything, just wait. We will definitely give you and Liz an unforgettable wedding. Slap laughed. By the way, if you really have nothing to do, go to the beach and wait to see if your friends and teachers in the sea room have come. Slap just finished speaking. Brother Slap, Brother Garp. I'm coming. A huge warship has appeared. Several children in festive clothes shouted excitedly to report. I gonna go see. Garp rushed out with a lunge. Run to the coast immediately. The endless blue sea, Marine's highest standard large warship rides the wind and waves. Driving towards the destination Windmill Village at high speed. It is different from the chilling of previous battles. This time the warship was filled with a festive atmosphere. The warships were decorated with lights and decorations everywhere. On the deck, gift boxes were piled up into a small mountain. People on the warship. Man in suit pen listening. The women's long skirts and gowns fluttered. It's coming soon. Everyone, work harder and speed up. That guy Garp is actually getting married. It really scares me. Yeah, but no matter what, this is a good thing worth celebrating. Thanks to Garp's marriage, we also have this vacation. The Marines from the headquarters who had been with Garp through life and death over the past 2 years, as well as Garp's old friends at the Roger Town base, were all happy and laughing. Wedding cake. Wedding cake. Linlin, a 13-year-old girl who is getting taller and taller, dances around the oversized gift box on the deck, her face full of anticipation. Bo, that kid Garp is really good. He looks honest on the surface, but he turns out to be so quiet that he even has a son. Sengoku chewed Hanako, and envy turned him into a groundhog. Yeah, I thought Garp was single like us. Zephyr clicked his tongue in surprise. Mr. Roger. One red and one blue, one red and one royal, the two beauties in evening gowns all cast subtle glances at Roger. Even my disciple already has a son. Are you a little incompetent as a teacher? Please give me flowers. The witch girl who prefers lowly narrowed her eyes and smiled. In these years, we have not deliberately avoided it as before, but why can't we do it? Vice Admiral Tia sighed lightly. Roger grinned. I was speechless for a moment. Teacher Roger. The girl Hellion, who was dressed in a black evening dress, walked gracefully with a fragrant breeze. Teacher, do you know about Garp's marriage partner? The girl Crane asked. Change the topic because Roger came to the rescue. Oh, this, I still know something about it. Roger touched the girl Crane's little head. The words fell. Everyone on the deck was attracted. 0. Garp is marrying his childhood sweetheart. Her name is Liz. Roger immediately began to tell what he knew. That was what happened when Roger took Roger to Windmill Village more than 10 years ago. Next to the child Garp, there is always a little girl. During practice, the little girl often gave rice balls to Roger and his apprentice. Roger will respond with delicious barbecue. From Garp's mouth. Roger learned that the girl named Liz and her mother were rescued by Garp from a group of men in black during his adventure in Yamanaka. Later, Roger also investigated a little bit. It was discovered that the girl was the illegitimate daughter of a down-and-out noble in Gao Town, Kingdom of Goa. Because he had no money, he asked the creditor to arrest his daughter and women to pay off the debt. In order to prevent such incidents from happening again. Roger immediately solved everything from the source. Of course about this, Roger would not appeal openly. Teacher Roger. Everyone. There was the sound of footsteps in the air. Garp stepped on moonwalk, cheered happily, and fell from the sky. Garp, you kid really can't tell. Okay, Garp, you are the fastest among us to get married. You don't say anything, you even have a son. You will have to drink wine as a penalty later. The sailors happily stepped forward and beat Garp on the chest. PFF'd ha ha ha. Garp touched the back of his head, seeming a little embarrassed. In laughter. The warship docked. The wedding ceremony belonging to future Marine hero Garp begins. Chapter 101 Big Shot Dragon. Roger's congratulatory party. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. East Blue Windmill Village, Coast. It was full of people and lively. All the villagers in Windmill Village gathered. There were constant exclamations and uproar. Marine's brothers are so handsome. I want to be as handsome as Garp-san in the future. Some children spoke with longing. As expected of the Marines of this headquarters. This is a real luxury wedding. In comparison, our arrangement is completely trivial. Slap and other villagers lamented. Although I really want to give Garp an unforgettable wedding that will make the village proud. But the villagers knew nothing about advanced weddings outside. Roger, who had already expected this, prepared the corresponding materials early on the road. Now under the actions of the sailors. A grand wedding scene was quickly decorated. The 890 red carpet stretches all the way from the coast to the end of the village. Accompanied by people's cheers, the wedding begins. Garp, who was wearing a suit and wearing a pen, walked on the red carpet with his childhood sweetheart Liz, who was wearing a white wedding dress, walking step by step towards the palace of marriage. Along the way, Garp always has a silly smile on his face. The girl Liz still lowered her head shyly at first. But soon he raised his head and listened to the evil. Her delicate and pretty face was filled with satisfaction and joy from the bottom of her heart. A newlywed couple is in front. Several children scattered flowers. Behind them were the two best men and bridesmaids. No doubt, the best man on Garp's side is Sengoku and Zephyr, his two closest brothers. As for the woman, she is another loser who has a good relationship with Liz in the village. 10 long minutes. Garp and his wife Liz walked down the aisle. With interim pastor officiating, the two exchanged vows and exchanged rings. The ceremony is completed. It means that the two people are officially married. Next comes the carnival session. But until then, according to the custom of Windmill Village, the newlyweds also need to serve tea to their elders. Liz's mother died of illness 6 years ago. Garp has been on his own since he was a child. Therefore, the position of elder is naturally taken by Roger. Teacher Roger, please have some tea. Garp chuckled. Roger nodded happily. Teacher Roger, please. Liz was not timid because she had met Roger more than 10 years ago. Liz, if this kid Garp bullies you in the future, just tell the teacher and the teacher will help you teach him a lesson. Roger joked. Also, this is a little thought from the teacher, don't dislike it. Roger stepped aside and showed a small mountain of gifts behind him. Teacher, this is too much. Liz was startled. No more, not all for you, there are dragons too. Roger waved his hand. Right, dragon, Liz waved. A woman came forward holding a child. Carefully put the swaddled baby into Liz's hands. Long, open your eyes quickly, it's Grandpa Roger. The swaddled baby dragon indeed opened its eyes. No crying or fussing. He just looked at Roger with his big, smart eyes. Roger took the dragon from Liz. I am filled with emotions. After all, who would have thought that what he is holding now is Long, the worst criminal in the future world and the leader of the Revolutionary Army. So cute. Really so cute. Looking at the cute little child, Tia and Miss Witch couldn't help but feel their maternal instincts. He forcefully snatched the dragon from Roger's arms. Tia, Ace, be careful, don't fall. Roger said. Roger, it's not your turn to say such things. We are much more careful than you. Tia and Miss Witch retorted. Roger raised his hands in surrender. This is Garp's son. He looks so well behaved and completely different from ordinary children. The girl Crane came forward with curious eyes. This child will definitely become a very important figure in the future. Miss Witch said firmly. Yes, the future Marine Admiral Monkey D. Dragon. We will witness that day. Tia said longingly. Hearing this, Roger's mouth twitched. Almost laughed out loud. Esmeralda was right, this boy from the Garp family would indeed stand out in the future and become a very important figure. But it was far different from the Marine Admiral that Tia longed for. The big figures who oppose the world government are pretty much the same. Grandpa Roger, it's time to cut the wedding cake. 13-year-old girl Linlin urged. From the moment the cake is made. She has been longing for, waiting, and enduring. Now there are already signs that I can't stand it any longer. See this. Roger didn't delay any longer. It would be bad if Linlin suffered from Syria at this time and ruined the wedding. Roger greeted Garp and Liz, the newlyweds. Zephyr and Sengoku stepped on the moonwalk together and opened the lid of the 13-layer super cake. All of a sudden, the intoxicating aroma fills the air. Around 13 layers of super cake. The noisy celebration banquet begins. At this moment, the distant second half of the Grand Line, New World. Captain, who was that person before? Who was he delivering the message for? What's on the letter? Captain. The handsome blonde young man Rayleigh, the fluffy black-haired Jabba, the fish man Sunbell, Taro, Dollinger. More than a dozen Roger pirates all looked at their captain. Ah ha 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 ha, it's nothing, it's just that a former friend got married today. It's a pity that I can't go, but if I go, I'm afraid it won't be so good. Roger laughed. Alas alas, Captain Roger's friend is getting married. Then, let's have a party for Captain Roger's friends. A pirate suggested. What a good suggestion, Yoxi, kids, let's have a party. Captain Roger B.9 raised his arms and shouted. Oh, somewhere in the New World. A pirate ship moved slowly. On board, the pirates burst into laughter. The rough-looking captain of the timber pirates was holding a large pile of gold treasures, smiling so hard that he couldn't close his mouth. Ha ha ha, he looked at the blonde young man on the bow of the boat. Newgate, it's all your fault that we were able to win this time. Why don't you come and share the joy together? No, no need. The young man with blonde curly hair shook his head. Newgate, aren't you interested in treasure? So what do you like? Someone asked. I want a family. Young Edward Newgate said. Family. What a weirdo. Chapter 102 3 years. The Rumba Pirates and Brook. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. A day of fun. Garp's life has opened a new chapter. From a carefree young man, he transformed into a husband and a father. Because the current sea situation is not too severe yet, Roger directly secured 3 months of wedding leave for Garp. Let him spend time with his wife and newly born child in East Blue. As for Sengoku, Zephyr and other sailors, of course there is no vacation. The day after the wedding, everyone hurriedly boarded the warship and returned to the headquarters to report. There are 2 exceptions. One is Vice Admiral Tia, who serves as the assistant to the marshal. Originally, Tia also wanted to return to the headquarters together. However, he was stopped by Roger in a domineering manner. I've been helping Marine for so many years. Tia's actual age is not young either. It's time to enjoy life. She was embarrassed to speak to Marshal Raymond. So let's talk about Roger. Roger immediately asked Tia for half a year's leave in one fell swoop. In addition, the girl Crane also got a vacation trip together. As Tia's assistant, the girl Suru should accompany her even on vacation. 23 plus Miss Witch and little Linlin. Led by Roger, a group of 5 people embarked on a half-year leisurely vacation in East Blue. However, the 6-month-long vacation is only half over. The sudden bad news came, interrupting Roger's arrangements. Former Marine Marshal, 89-year-old Cook, was critically ill. Naval headquarters. Residential towns on the back bank. A secluded courtyard. 89-year-old Cook collapsed on the recliner. His big, skinny hands caressed the head of the disciple beside him, Dia. Don't cry, Tia, I have seen Marine's bright future. Garp, Sengoku, Xiaohei and Zephyr, they will shoulder the responsibility of the next era. This way, even when I get there, I can stop the bear and face Mr. Carl and Mr. Orlando. Old Cook chuckled. But teacher, to be honest, the teacher is not without regrets. It's all because of your incompetence. Old Cook used his last strength to glare at Roger. Mr. Cook, after so many years, it's time to let go of that fight. I really didn't mean it. Roger grinned. Is that what I'm talking about? You, a bastard, care about your disciple's wedding, but what about yourself? Where about Xiaoya's? Also, Mr. Carl passed away regretfully because he could not see your children. The result is still the same when it comes to me. If Mr. Carl and the others ask, how should I answer? Old Cook spoke emotionally. It was like a final flashback. After saying these words, his breath suddenly became weak. The fire of life wavers. Teacher Cook, Garp, Sengoku and other new generation Marine generals who had been educated by the Old Cook all called forward. Old Cook passed away suddenly with a look of satisfaction on his face. When, Naval Headquarters Square, the Oaks bell rings. See Circle Calendar 1468. Marshal Cook, who dedicated his life to Marine, was buried in Marine Cemetery. It is adjacent to ancestors such as Carl Sr., Orlando, and Spruance. I'm the only one left. Marshal Raymond looked up to the sky and sighed. And I, Roger said calmly. Yes, at least I still have an old guy like you to die for me, but what about you? Roger. My life is far from over, Raymond. Then I'll have to trouble you to take care of Marine from now on. Goodbye. Holy Land, Mariajoy. Ding. The crisp sound of clinking glasses echoed in the deepest meeting hall. Cheers. Another old guy has fallen. The only one left is Raymond. This is really something worth celebrating. The bald old star with birthmark and others are full of joy. But, what's the but? The Shiro Yaksha from Impel Down is obviously over 60, but why doesn't he look older? Maybe he will live longer than we think. What nonsense are you talking about? Even if you still look middle-aged, your physical functions must have declined. I can't stand it if that Shiro Yaksha is allowed to live another 60 years. The sword-wielding samurai old star shook his head in disbelief. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Old Cook's farewell ceremony ended. Roger returned to Impel Down. An offshore platform. The 84-year-old Maka was leisurely basking in the sun, holding a thermos cup in his hand as always. Have to. It's not just Raymond. There is another old guy in Impel Down. This moment, Roger looked at old Maka with a warm look. What's the matter, my eldest lord? Old Maka felt something in her heart and opened her dim old eyes. Brother Maka, you have to live longer. After me, you will be the director. Roger spoke kindly. Cut. Old Maka cut it with disdain. Another 2 years passed quickly. It took 40 years of hard work. The oldest deputy director in the history of Impel Down finally couldn't stand it anymore. Bakeo. Uncle, tell me, I'm listening. Uncle, it seems that we can only stop here. I'll leave it to you next. You must survive that boy Roger and become the director. Old Macaw said firmly. The 50-year-old warden Baka looked slightly embarrassed. Because Roger is also in the ward. Besides, at 50 years old, he looks even older than Roger. Uncle, even I may not be able to survive the director. Baka thought. See Circle Calendar 1470. 40 years Impel Down Deputy Chief Elder Maka passed away. A week later, appointed by Roger 330, Warden Baka was promoted to the position of Deputy Director. The Chief Warden shall be his successor. Later, the Deputy Warden was served by 16-year-old Yuan Lot Linlin. Stayed at Impel Down for 11 years. Linlin, a fat girl who was originally ridiculed by others, is now slim and graceful. She initially looked like a tall and beautiful girl, and was deeply loved by the jailers. But at the same time, Linlin was also feared by the jailers. The reason is naturally because Linlin has episodes of syphoria from time to time. 1 month after the death of old Maka, after handing over the daily work to the new deputy director Baka, Roger went out alone and started a new journey. He goes with the flow. Unknowingly, we entered a dark sea shrouded in thick fog. A moment of thought, Roger learned his location. Devil's Triangle. Sudden. Yo ho ho, yo ho ho. Yo ho ho, yo ho ho. Suddenly, a burst of cheerful singing came out from the dense fog that made it impossible to see even one's fingers. Pirate song. Binks's Wine. Follow the sound. A large, dilapidated ship that had just gone through a battle appeared in Roger's sight. The broken flag flying on the pirate ship is Lumba Pirates. Brooke, who died with only a handful of bones and an explosive head left, suddenly appeared in Roger's mind. Chapter 103. Rewriting the Fate of the Lombard Pirates. Please subscribe. Advertise here. The Devil's Triangle. Looking down from a distance. The endless blue sea seems to be divided into two worlds by black lines out of thin air. There is a clear blue sky outside, but there is fog and darkness inside. About the evil reputation of the Devil's Triangle. It existed before Shichibukai Gecko Moria took root in this sea area with his huge island ship. From ancient times to the present, at least 100 ships have disappeared inexplicably into this thick fog every year, becoming ghost ships drifting with the tide. So far, no one knows exactly what is going on. The notorious reputation of the Devil's Triangle was never created by Moria. In this sea shrouded in thick fog, there exists a mysterious existence unknown to the world. As a time traveler, Roger is even more aware of this. Although it's just a picture. But he did see it in his previous life. After the Straw Hat crew left this sea, 2 red lights lit up in the thick fog. Those were the eyes opened by a huge creature comparable to an elephant master. For the existence that lives in this strange sea. Roger has been curious for a long time. So every time you leave Impel Down and go to other sea areas. I always come here for a walk from time to time. Arrived now. The total number of times Roger has been to Devil's Sea can't be counted on both hands. Unfortunately, these dozens of wanderings have yielded nothing. The creature hidden in this sea never appeared in front of Roger. But this time, although Roger didn't encounter that giant creature, he also encountered other interesting things, our pirates. Yo ho ho, yo ho ho, yo ho ho, yo ho ho. The melodious pirate song echoed clearly in the thick fog. Roger observation hockey radiated and instantly located the source of the sound. Wait until you land on the shabby pirate ship. Roger suddenly discovered it. What he encountered today turned out to be the Lombard Pirates. Future generations of Straw Hat musicians. Brooks' pirate group died with only a handful of bones left. And look at the situation. They were already in a fierce battle with other pirate groups and were almost completely wiped out. The deck is riddled with holes. There were many corpses lying strewn about. In the end, only a dozen people were left playing the piano and singing with difficulty. I want to record the last song of the Rumba Pirates. One day, Brooke, who ate the underworld fruit and came back to life, was taken to the starting point of the Grand Line to fulfill the agreement with their partner Whale Laboon. Roger is very clear about the relationship between the Rumba music group and the Whale Laboon. Yo hey hey. The melodious pirate song came to an abrupt end with the arrival of Roger. You, who are you? Brooke, the violinist and acting captain of the Rumba Pirates, asked nervously. Roger said nothing, walking into the cabin with ease. Get all available medicine from the ship's hospital room. Are you a doctor? Are you sent by God to save us? Brooke opened his blurry eyes and murmured unconsciously. Shut up. Roger stabbed him angrily. After that, a shot was given to each of the people who were still alive to stabilize the toxins in their hearts. Then began to use the medicine on hand to prepare the antidote. The reason why the Lumba Pirates were destroyed. Not because the injury was too serious. It was because the ship's medical assistant was killed prematurely. As a result, all of them were poisoned, and no one could solve it. In fact, the poison in them is not a poison that has no cure. As long as a qualified doctor can handle it. Not to mention Roger, a medical saint whose medical attainments reached 100,000 level 5. As the antidote works, the pale faces of Brooke and others gradually recovered. In the end, more than 20 people survived. Because the member who fell first was not completely dead, but just fell into shock. With Roger's medical skills, anyone who is not dead can be saved. I'm still alive. I'm alive too. What exactly is going on? We are supposed to be dead, right? Is this the kingdom of heaven? No, we are pirates, of course we will go to hell. It's great, I can be with you all even in hell. As long as you have a partner by your side, there's nothing to be afraid of. By the way, can we also see Captain Madara? A pirate said excitedly. Madara Pyoyanki is the captain of the Lumba Pirates. Because he was infected with the plague, he had to leave the team. Idiot, Captain Yankee and the others are just infected with the plague, they are not dead yet. Someone objected. Then he lowered his head again. Because this is just a good wish in their hearts. I don't know if Brooke's underworld fruit has worked. The agreement between us and Laboon depends on Brooke. Some people lamented. Everyone. A loud voice sounded. The patients in the order's cabin were stunned. Then they filed out. Brooke. It's Brooke. Brooke, don't you have the power of the underworld fruit and can be resurrected once? Why are you coming with us? Wait, could it be? Everyone in the Lumba group seemed to have thought of something, and the expressions on their faces all froze. That's right. Yo-ho-ho-ho. Brooke let out his signature laugh. All of us are still alive, and Zhao is not dead. This is God's favor. He sent a messenger to save us. Brooke pointed at Roger on the bow. After a brief silence. We are actually still alive. Wow, it's really good. We also have a chance to meet Laboon again. Benefactor, I don't know your name. At the bow of the ship, Roger turned to take the lead. Then the cries of the people on the deck fell silent. Snap. A pair of handcuffs emerged from Roger's hands. Everyone in the Lumba group tilted their heads in confusion. My name is Roger. Impel Down Director. Roger grinned. Impel Down. Director. Roger. You are the legendary hero Shirayasha Roger. Pong. Chapter 104 He is the hero Roger. Whale Laboon and Crocus. Open black lens bracket please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. I am not a messenger from heaven, I am the director of Impel Down, Roger Chester. Roger grinned and revealed his identity. The words fell. The huge broken ship fell into silence at first. The next second. Hiss, hiss, hiss. The members of the Rumba group all gasped. They were not familiar with the name Roger. But they don't know these three words, Impel Down. The legendary deep sea prison. Once you enter, you will never come out. That's the nightmare of all pirates on the sea. Now. The man standing in front of them was the top director of the large prison. What a joke this is. You are the director of Impel Down. The director of the big prison saved us, this kind of thing. It's so unbelievable. Director Impel Down, why would such a big shot want to save us? We are pirates. Just letting us die is the right development. Brother, stop joking. Everyone in the Lumba group waved their hands. I don't 743 believe Roger's self-exposure at all. Because this doesn't make sense at all. However. The next second. Wrong. Instead of the captain's nose song, Brooke suddenly shouted loudly. What's wrong? He didn't lie. Brooke's eyes widened and he looked at Roger in shock. He had already remembered. The long-standing memories in my mind emerged clearly at this moment. The appearance of the person in front of me is the same as 36 years ago. When he was still a boy, he saw the photos of heroic legends in the newspaper. Perfect fit. Brooke, what's wrong with you? The cellist asked. He is really the director of Impel Down, Roger Shirayasha. And he is still the great hero Roger who saved the world 36 years ago. Brooke took a deep breath and used all his strength to say these words. Wow. Shocked uproar broke out. The director of Impel Down is actually real. But I still can't understand it. Why did he, CDBF, want to save us? Maybe they want to save us first and then send us to Impel Down to perform. Kang. Brooke tightened his grip on the umbrella sword in his hand. After a moment, he weakly let go. A wry smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Face a legendary hero like Roger. Their power is insignificant. Any resistance is futile, but even if he dies, he must at least understand Roger's purpose. Hero Roger, why did you save us? Brooke asked seriously. The deck was silent. Everyone looked at Roger nervously. Roger's next words will determine their fate. Why? Probably just bored. Roger smiled. Everyone looked at each other. That's it. So, are you going to imprison us in Impel Down next? One pirate asked bravely. It depends on your choice. Do you want to continue to be a pirate? Roger asked rhetorically. The expressions on the faces of Brooke and others became more and more confused. But one thing they knew. If they answer yes, then the ruthless sanctions of zombie heroes await them. Finally escaped death. Fight back from the death line of hell. They don't want to experience death again. I don't even want to be imprisoned in the hellish Impel Down and spend the rest of my life in pain. No, do not want. I gave up. I don't want to be a pirate anymore. By the way, Laboon. I want to see Laboon. One after another, some people put down their weapons. In the end, only a few backbones such as Brooke were left. Then it's decided. Brooke took a deep breath. Cut out with one sword. The flag of the Lombard pirates on the mast fell. We don't want to be pirates anymore, please let us live, Hero Roger. We still have a reason to return to Twin Capes no matter what. Even if we really want to arrest him, please let us fulfill our agreement with our partners in Laboon. Led by Brooke, the 20 or so surviving members of the Lombard pirates all knelt down and grabbed the ground with their heads. The unspeakable silence lasted for a long moment. Then so be it. Roger grinned. I agree to your request, but I still need to monitor whether you have really changed your ways. Yes. Thank you very much, Master Roger. You are our great benefactor. This kindness will never be forgotten forever. The world is not black and white. Live longer. For some things that should be taken care of, you can choose to close one eye. Moreover, now after experiencing separation one after another, Roger also needs the joy of reunion to dilute the pain of separation. Yo ho ho ho. Yo ho ho ho. Put Binks's wine. The melodious pirate song resounded through the sky. The fiery red sunset illuminates the sky and sea. The starting point of the Grand Line is Twin Capes. A young man about 20 years old walked out of the lighthouse. Chirp chirp. Near the coast, about 2 adult-sized island whales looked into the distance with lonely expressions. Laboon, so I have already said that the sea is vast, and it is impossible to go back and forth once a year anyway. The Loonjong pirates who have made an appointment with you will not come back for at least a few days. Quote. Crocus, the young lighthouse keeper, shook his head. Chirp, chirp, chirp. The cry of Laboon, the island whale, suddenly became urgent. Immediately afterwards, he rushed out of Twin Capes and swam towards the distance. Laboon, wait, you disobedient whale, come back quickly, if you let the Sea Kings eat. Crocus chased after him, scolding him as he chased. But the next second, yo ho ho ho, yo ho ho ho. The wind brings distant singing. The Lumba pirates are really back so soon. Chapter 105 Disciple Cerulean. Something happened to Impel Down. Open black lens bracket please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. The night is dark. The starting point of the Grand Line is Twin Capes. The bonfire is roaring. The melodious pirate song and Binks's wine echoed under the sky. This was accompanied by the excited shouts of whales. Tonight is a joyful reunion party. No 50 years of sorrow. Just 1 year before and after. Whale Laboon, reunite with the Rumba pirates. Although not all members are back, it is enough to make whales and people excited. The legendary hero who exists in the deep sea prison, Roger Shiryasha, you are more than the rumors say. The young lighthouse doctor, Rox, is in awe. More what? Roger smiled. Younger. Crocus thought of the appropriate adjective. Crocus, are you interested in coming back to Impel Down with me? Roger asked. This. Crocus seemed a little overwhelmed by this sudden invitation. He, I'm just kidding, you should continue to guard the tower here. Roger smiled. Gudong. Crocus drank the wine in one gulp and finally suppressed the shock in his heart. Full of wine and food. The night ends and the day dawns. Lord Roger. Mr. Roger. Roger the hero. Thank you so much. During Brooke and everyone in the Rumba pirates paid their respects and gave thanks. Roger waved his hand, boarded his boat, and drifted away. A rare opportunity. Roger was in no rush to return to Impel Down. He first came to Whiskey Peak. It is not yet occupied by the Baroque workshop. Next up is the prehistoric island Little Garden. The 2 former captains of the giant pirates, Red Oni Brigi and Blue Ogre Dory, are still fighting today, competing for the strongest position. Thinking of the giant warriors' proud combined attack skills, Roger couldn't help but feel itchy. While the 2 giants were fighting, he intervened involuntarily, causing Brigi the Red Ghost and Dory the Blue Ogre to join forces and use the world-dominating Hakoku. Then he was defeated by Roger with a punch. Looking at the 2 unconscious giants, Roger touched his chin, treated him casually, and then ran away. Shortly after, the giants woke up in a daze. Really, who is that little human? It's surprisingly powerful, it's even more of a monster than our giants. Speaking of which, I think that human looks a bit familiar. I'm excited. Red Ghost Brigi took out an old newspaper from his residence. That human is the legendary hero, Roger Shiryasha. Depart from prehistoric island Little Garden. Roger's next stop is Winter Island Magnetic Drum Country. Now that Wapple has not yet taken over, this is also a peaceful medical country. Roger stayed here for 2 months. During this period, he accepted a frivolous disciple named Cerulean. It was said that he was recruiting a disciple, but in fact it was Cerulean himself who was shy and insisted on calling him Teacher Roger. Roger had no choice but to teach this ambitious, quack doctor, a few tricks. Except for Cerulean. Of course there is another acquaintance here. Dr. Kuleha. He was 91 years old. Even if the plot begins 50 years later, she is still alive. He is simply more alive than Roger. 91-year-old Kuleha is already an old woman now, no matter how well she takes care of herself. The reason she targeted Roger was because she wanted to get the secret to eternal youth from him. I battled wits and courage with Dr. Kuleha for 2 months. Adhering to the principle that a good man should not fight with women, Roger left as expected. There is no doubt about the next destination. Grand Line Sentinel, Alabasta. In Alabasta, of course, what you can't miss is the historical text of the kingdom's funeral ceremony hall. Please give me flowers. Roger stared at the historical article that recorded Pluton's location for a long time. Even the IV-4 archaeology master still can't understand it. Because archaeology also has many classifications. The interpretation of this historical article is very unpopular. There is no trick, even Roger can't understand it. Roger once went to Wanokuni, wanting to find the interpretation method passed down by Kazuki from generation to generation. However, the interpretation was not recorded in anything, but was passed down orally by the generals of the past dynasties. In this way, Roger naturally can only return without success. As expected, I still need to find time to go to Ohara for a walk. Roger thought to himself. 0. Left Alabasta. The next destination is Gaia, Sky Island, Golden Country. Before that, Roger arrived at the outpost first. Pirate Town, Magic Valley Town. Sitting in the tavern in Magic Valley Town, Roger couldn't help but wonder. Do you want to pack up the Golden Bell Tower and take it away? Come together every morning and listen to the sound of the golden clock, which makes you feel relaxed and happy. No, no, no. Roger shook his head. The sound of the golden bell is indeed wonderful. But he and the jailers could hear it. Prisoners can hear it too. How could such a beautiful bell take advantage of those villains? Even if I don't listen, I will never let the evil spirits listen. You don't need to bring the golden clock. But it has come. Should we take some of the gold treasures in the Golden Land? It's also good as a collectible. Just when Roger was about to take action. Brew brew brew. The urgent call came. Roger's eyes narrowed slightly. During his absence these years, Impel Down has never had any trouble. In other words, it's not urgent enough to contact him. Gaga. The phone bug answered. Director, I'm really sorry. Baka, who had recently become deputy director, apologized solemnly. Chapter 106. 36 years later, Mariajoy is killed again. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. I know, I'll go back right away, and I'll leave it to you before that. Yes, director. Gaga. The phone bug hangs up. Roger dropped a gold coin and turned to leave. At this time, hey, brother over there, what's the matter? You're in such a hurry to leave. A pirate stopped in front of Roger with a malicious expression. Our boss has something to discuss with you, please give me a favor. If you don't show respect, don't blame us for being violent. More and more pirates gathered. The eyes he looked at Roger were full of greed. They saw it before. Roger's pockets were all filled with golden coins. This is an unprecedented super fat sheep. 893, has been stationed in Mogu Town for so long. This was their first encounter. How can I let it go? Go away, I'm not in the mood to play with you right now. Roger spoke coldly. Aha, what did you say? Don't get too carried away. A pirate stepped forward with a grin. Tisk. Lightning flashed. The pirate's body solidified. It turned into pitch black coke under the raging electric light. After a moment of silence. Shouts of terror arose. Roger's eyes are cold. Looking at the pirates was like looking at dead people. My mood was already extremely bad. There are even some unsighted people who come to your door. Then there is nothing more to say. Kang. The black knife is unsheathed. Roger raised the knife and dropped it. Cut off rows of pirate heads. It only took less than 10 minutes. The pirate group stationed in Demon Valley Town, which specialized in plundering for a living, was wiped out without leaving anyone behind. The whole town was bleeding like a river, as if it had turned into a hell on earth. Boom, boom. The island is sinking. The town of Magic Valley was wiped off the map. Just one day later, Roger returned to Impel Down. Deputy Director Baka, whose hands were covered with bandages, had been waiting early. Baka, tell me exactly how this whole incident happened. Roger said solemnly. Yes, Chief Roger. Baka nodded. Immediately he began to describe everything in detail. 3 days ago, the 16-year-old Linlin routinely went to the Eternal Hell Arena to fight pirates. And once again he won. Every time Linlin wins, there will be a prize cake to eat. However, this time, the cake as a prize was missing. Linlin, who had been waiting for this for a long time, unexpectedly developed syphoria. When Roger was around, luckily, the symptoms would often be contained as soon as they started to appear. But when Roger was out, even if Miss Witch takes action, it also takes a while to stop. Linlin lost his mind and used his natural strength to wreak havoc in Eternal Hell. A few cages were accidentally broken and several prisoners were released. Even though Miss Witch is quite powerful. But he has to deal with Linlin, who is suffering from narcosis, and the escaped pirates at the same time. But it's also a bit powerless. Deputy Director Macaw was also injured in the battle. Several jailers died in the line of duty. In the end, thanks to Admiral Kong, he happened to escort the prisoners here. With Admiral's intervention, the situation was finally brought under control. The situation was not allowed to deteriorate further. But Linlin left Impel Down. I'm really sorry, Director. I was too incompetent and failed to live up to the Director's expectations. Deputy Director Baka lowered his head very low. Look up, Baka, you have done a good enough job. This is my dereliction of duty as the Director. Roger said solemnly. You go back first. Send Maka away. Roger went straight to the 5.5th floor underground. Roger. Vice Admiral Tia quickly stepped forward. How is Ace's condition? Roger asked. It's stabilized now. Tia nodded. Roger came to the room. Looking at Esmeralda, who looked weak, her head tightened unconsciously. Sorry. Don't apologize. I told you that you would be fine after just 2 days of rest. When I was at the sea before, I had injuries twice as serious as this. Miss Witch forced a smile. By the way, where is Linlin? How is Linlin doing now? I hope she won't blame herself for this. Leave Linlin's affairs to me. Don't think about anything now, just have a good rest. Roger gently tapped Miss Witch's smooth forehead. Immediately turned around and went out. Roger. Don't worry, leave it to me, Tia. Even if it's for you, I won't do anything random. Exit underground level 5.5. Roger was in no hurry to set off. He first came to Eternal Hell, the 6th underground level. With the arrival of Roger, the originally noisy Eternal Hell fell silent for an instant. The quiet needle drop can be heard. An unspeakable deathly silence enveloped the entire Eternal Hell. Roger said nothing, just stood calmly. Indifferent eyes swept over the prisoners in each cell. However, it is the silent silence that makes people even more tortured. Just by being stared at by Roger's eyes, they felt the Shinigami approaching. In the dark, Shinigami's sickle seemed to be placed above their heads. 3.8 It took a long time. The sound of tapping footsteps sounded. Roger still said nothing. Go straight out of Eternal Hell. However, a seed was planted in the hearts of the prisoners. Germinate and grow rapidly. That is the seed of fear for Impel Down Shiro Yasha. Out of Eternal Hell, Roger went straight back to the first platform on the sea. Director, do you really want to go? Deputy Director Maka asked nervously. Don't worry, let Tia prepare dinner, I'll be back. Leave this sentence behind. Roger walked through the air. The air was broken by both feet, soaring into the sky. The target is directly at the top of the red line. Holy Place Mariajoy. Chapter 107 The Government's Background. National Treasure. Launched. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe. Close black lens bracket. Advertise here. Why did Linlin's reward cake disappear out of thin air? Why are there always shortages of cake ingredients in the kitchen? When Linlin fell into schizophrenia, who suddenly took out the cake? Who was it that finally lured Linlin onto the warship with the help of cake? All the answers are already available. Ha 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 ha. The deepest part of the Holy Land Mariajoy. The meeting hall of the 5 elders. The old people standing at the top of the world's power raised their glasses and laughed. After so many years of suffering, it's our turn to laugh. Just a few small actions will make him anxious. This is the wisdom of our elders. I just received the news that Shiro Yakusha, who was impelled down, is about to come over. Then let's start the second preparation and continue to make him feel defeated and have nowhere to vent his anger. I'm really looking forward to that little Waiku's appearance. 23 The 5 elders were all laughing triumphantly. At this time, boom, boom, a roar like the earth was shattering echoed throughout Mariajoy. Before the 5 elders had time to drink the wine in their mouths, it was spilled all over them. 5 elders. Things are bad, 5 elders. Report from the front door. The door. Mariajoy's door exploded again. Several world government officials rolled around and screamed in terror. Lord 5 elders, it's Roger. The white Yaksha Roger who impelled down is here again. Another person came to report. What did you say? Even though he had already guessed that in this world, only the impelled down Shirayasha had the courage to attack the holy land of Mariajoy. The 5 elders were still shocked beyond measure. Because it's too fast. Damn it, that little Byaksha guy, why did he come so fast? We didn't even have time to prepare anything. Bald birthmark 5 elders shouted angrily, repeatedly provoking the majesty of the government. The ancient 5 elders suddenly opened their eyes, and there was an inexplicable and deep faint light shining in them. If he dares to step into Pangu City again this time, we will use the national treasure to kill him. The oldest 5 elders spoke with murderous intent. The other 5 elders were all shocked. Do you really want to do this? The inauguration of a national treasure is of great importance. What should I do over there, Lord I am? It must not be used until the world government is in a critical moment. This is Lord Im's order. Even the old star with the bald head and birthmark who hated Roger the most was muttering at this moment and did not dare to act without authorization. No problem, I will take all the responsibilities. The oldest 5 elders spoke coldly. The 5 elders all took a deep breath, nodded heavily, and took action. Some are doing the launch process for national treasures. Some are following the original plan. Boom. Just like 36 years ago. The magnificent gate of Pangu City once again exploded into the sky. Even the wall near the city gate exploded. The entire city wall shook violently. Roger took a step forward and was about to step into the city behind the city gate. Cemetery. A tingling sensation came over my back. That was Roger's peak IV-5 observation hockey warning. Somewhere, it seemed that there was some kind of huge death crisis coming. Even Roger today may not be able to fight. The hidden secrets of the Holy Land Mariajoy. Roger frowned slightly. Between hesitation, a large number of chaotic footsteps sounded. The Mariajoy escort appears, surrounded by 2 5 elders. Asshole Yasha, what are you going to do this time? The bald old star with birthmark yelled angrily. I should be asking you this. I should have said before that you are not allowed to interfere with Impel Down. Roger responded coldly. What have we interfered with? It's so baffling. It's obvious that you, the director, are irresponsible, but as the director, you wander around every day. Even my own subordinates were poorly disciplined and went berserk without permission, which almost led to a tragic prison break. If something like this happens in Impel Down, you, the director, are entirely to blame. Even if you are dismissed, it won't be an exaggeration. The old star with a bald head and birthmark was the first to attack and beat him down. Roger looked calm, with neither joy nor sorrow on his face, and was not moved at all. These are not the reasons for you to steal people from my Impel Down without authorization. Now return Linlin intact. Otherwise, at this distance, it will definitely not be too difficult for me to kill you two alone. Even if your national treasure cannot be saved either. Roger spoke bluntly. What did you say? Hearing Roger's direct threat of murder, the anger in the heart of the bald old star with birthmarks erupted like a volcano. This time I thought I could grab Roger's pigtails and argue for 800, and admire his deflated appearance. Who would have thought? Roger didn't compete with them at all. It just means turning the table over and getting started. Who can withstand this? They are only 10 meters away from Pangu City. This distance is very short. But he didn't dare to gamble. Because they knew that Roger really had the power to kill them. After finally becoming the 5 elders, they have unlimited lifespan and supreme power. Of course they don't want to die here for no reason. Bring the people out. The curly-haired aristocratic veteran was the first to give in. Not long after, 16-year-old girl Linlin walked out of Pangu City. Looking at Roger not far away, she just lowered her head weakly. Let's go back. Roger waved. Linlin weighed his feet, but in the end he did not take a step, but shook his head violently. Don't be willful, everyone is waiting for you to go back. Roger said. No, do not want. Everyone at Impel Down doesn't like Linlin either. Linlin doesn't like Impel Down. Linlin never go back again. Chapter 108 Linlin wants to have a baby with Roger. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. The age of 16 is the rebellious period of a girl. Girls in the rebellious stage are very sensitive and fragile. A relationship that is once broken cannot be restored again. During the years of Impel Down, even Roger's medical skills can't cure Linlin's Sureka, he can only control and guide it carefully. Even so, there will still be many unexpected changes that may induce Sureka. Especially in the past 2 years. During Roger's absence. There is often a shortage of ingredients shipped to Impel Down for making cakes. This increases the chance of developing syphoria. Linlin in a state of schizophrenia brought a huge psychological shadow to the jailers of Impel Down. Sometimes, the jailers would alienate Linlin unconsciously. For these, Roger, who has been wandering around all year round, doesn't know. He is not a qualified parent. So now, Linlin, a girl in the rebellious period, said she didn't want to go home. Roger was speechless for a moment and didn't know how to respond. Stop making trouble, Linlin, the sisters have prepared meals and delicious cakes, waiting for you to go back. After holding it in for a long time, Roger could only think of this. No, as for cakes, they are available here, and there are so many that Linlin can eat as much as he wants. Linlin wants to stay here and eat delicious cakes, don't go back. Linlin's big eyes were filled with tears. At this time, several guards appeared pushing a huge cake. It seems to be to show his determination. Linlin started to eat in big gulps without any image. That's good, go back, Grandpa Roger. This time, not only everyone, but also my sister was injured because of me. Linlin can't go back Impel Down. I don't want to go back and continue to hurt everyone who matters. Linlin is a bad boy. Linlin, a young girl, thought while eating, her big tears rolling down uncontrollably. You heard it too, by Yaksha. Now it's not that we don't let him, but that Linlin himself is too happy to miss Shu and doesn't want to leave. If you know, go back quickly. The bald old star with birthmark scolded arrogantly. Then he was gorgeously ignored. Linlin, why are you crying? Roger asked. Because the cake is so delicious. Linlin answered choked with sobs. Go back, as long as you go back, no matter what your request is, I can satisfy it. Roger spoke seriously. Real. Linlin seemed impressed. Certainly. Roger nodded. Then Linlin thinks. The expression and movements on Linlin's face gradually changed, revealing a little shyness of a little girl. If possible, Linlin would also like to have a baby with Grandpa Roger. The girl Linlin shyly revealed her little secret. The words fell. The whole place fell into silence. Regarding Linlin's willful request, the old bald birthmark star wanted to laugh at first. The smile stopped abruptly before it appeared. Because it suddenly occurred to him. There is a little girl at Roger's age who likes him and wants to give him a monkey. And when he was this age, people compare to people. Infuriating. Besides, Linlin's request is really too simple. If you were to be yourself. Absolutely no hesitation in agreeing. After all, Linlin now is no longer the fat Linlin before. At the age of 16, her body has gradually become taller and longer. She is already a slim and beautiful girl. Who can refuse this unreasonable request from a beautiful girl in her prime? Not only can you enjoy it, but you can also reap the ultimate fighting power. Even a fool knows how to choose this kind of thing. Their plan is about to go to waste again. Only. When Roger heard Linlin's request, his expression became more solemn than ever. Because she knew, Linlin made this request. Except maybe some affection. The bigger reason is that she knows that Roger will not agree. That's why she made this unreasonable request. She really didn't want to go back to Impel Down. Isn't it true? Linlin asked disappointedly. You are young. Roger said. Linlin is not young anymore, please don't use this excuse. Linlin retorted excitedly. I already know your thoughts completely. Since you don't want to go back to Impel Down no matter what, then go to Marine and go to Sister Tia's place to be with Xiaohei. That should be enough, Roger said. A moment of contemplation. The girl Linlin nodded heavily. Then let's go. It's disgusting to stay in this place any longer. Roger waved. Coming. Linlin wiped the cream on her hands and followed her up and down. Until Roger and the two walked far away. Only then did the bald old star with birthmarks and others finally come to their senses. Immediately he couldn't help but tremble with anger. Originally, he was still flustered by Linlin's simple request, but he thought he had to fulfill Roger's request again. Then when he heard Roger's rejection, he couldn't help but feel happy. While scolding Roger, led Zhao, for being stupid in his heart, he felt proud that the world government had gained a powerful force. Result. It didn't take long for him to be happy. Roger's words changed everything. The duck that reached his mouth flew away again. I have worked hard for more than half a year. In the end, people ran away to Marine. Just make someone else's wedding dress. Damn it, do you really think Mariajoy is a place where they can come and leave whenever they want? The bald old star with birthmark stamped his feet angrily. Enough. Let this matter end like this. The most ancient five elders faintly opened their mouths. As long as we don't let that Shirayasha cultivate powerful cronies to take over Impel Down, this will be our victory. The blonde five elders nodded with satisfaction. After all, Marine is still our direct unit. Head. Chapter 109. A major event in 5 years. Dragons and Magellan. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. See Circle Calendar 1470-1475. 5 years passed by in a hurry. During these 5 years, on the sea, everything happens frequently. Unprecedented turmoil is gradually showing signs. The phenomenon of New World, super multipolarity is becoming more and more obvious. The great pirate rocks D. Zebek, the bounty has officially exceeded the 4 billion mark. Unprecedented. The bounty is the highest in 800 years. Thus, people came to call Rocks the title of Lord of the Sea. After Rocks, the second echelon of New World, the bounties of Captain John, Silver Axe, Akoku and others have exceeded the 2 billion mark one after another. This era is twice as scary as the previous era. In addition to these New World veteran pirates, there is no shortage of Dark Horse level existences on the sea. Gal D. Roger, captain of the Roger Pirates, has a bounty of 2.534 million berries, surpassing Captain John and becoming the second highest bounty after Rocks. In addition, the deputy captain of the Roger Pirates, Silver Rayleigh, has a bounty of 1.865 million berries. The third in command, Copper Jabba, has a bounty of 1.58 billion. Sunbell, Spencer. The Roger Pirates are all elite members and have bounties on all members, causing a huge sensation around the world. After Roger Pirates, the flying pirate Admiral Golden Lion Shiki is also famous throughout the world. He once wiped out 1,083 countries by himself, and his bounty also exceeded 2 billion berry. There is also the pirate Edward Newgate, whose first bounty exceeded 100 million belly. In just 2 years, the bounty exceeded 1 billion. In addition, according to some gossip, Edward Newgate, who quit the original pirate group, once traveled in the New World with a certain man. On the way, he encountered the 2 billion pirate Golden Lion Shiki. In a fair one-on-one matchup, the flying pirate Admiral Golden Lion Shiki was defeated by Edward Newgate and fled. Above the sea, pirates and monsters appear frequently. Among Marine, there are also many talents. Garp and Sengoku were officially promoted to Naval Headquarters Vice Admiral. The combination of Garp the Fist and Buddha's Sengoku frightens countless pirates on the sea. Black Arm Rear Admiral Zephyr gradually became famous. There is also the Rear Admiral Crane, the marine goddess with unparalleled scheming, who makes the pirates hate her. Finally, there is 20-year-old Naval Headquarters Rear Admiral Charlotte Linlin. Its ferocious strange strength and invulnerable steel balloon have already vaguely earned the title of invincibility. No one will doubt it. If it continues to grow, Charlotte Linlin, who is a woman, will definitely become one of Marine's top combat powers. Even the youngest admiral of headquarters ever. Of course, that's assuming that doesn't happen. See Circle Calendar 1475. Sabayati Islands. A sailor under the command of Rear Admiral Charlotte Linlin was ruthlessly oppressed by celestial dragons, and his family was destroyed. Driven by furious emotions, Rear Admiral Linlin slapped the celestial dragons into pieces, leaving no corpse intact. The world government is outraged. Send Admiral and CP0 to arrest. Encountered unknown obstacles on the way. CP0 is completely destroyed. Ultimately, the matter was not exercised. Rear Admiral Charlotte Linlin's resume has since been sealed from Marine. There was no more Rear Admiral Linlin in the sea. Only Big Mom Charlotte Linlin. Time comes to see Circle Calendar 1476. An ironclad wall in the calm belt. Deep sea prison, Impel Down. Don't cry or make trouble. What a good boy. Starting tomorrow, let's sweep the building with Grandpa, Magellan. Roger held up a little baby under 2 years old, the future Impel Down director Magellan. Director, Magellan is only over 1 year old. Deputy Director Baka couldn't laugh or cry. So what? It started when I was this age. Roger smiled slightly. Don't use yourself as an example, Director. Baka and others complained in unison. Anyway, Impel Down has new blood, which is always a good thing. Because of Linlin's incident, Miss Witch, who had been depressed for more than half a year, has finally recovered. My favorite thing on weekdays is to cook all kinds of delicious food for little Magellan in different ways. The days are calm and cheerful. End of 1476. A marine warship arrives at Impel Down. Another child has been brought to the Great Prison. Moreover, CDBB, this child is not a stranger. Teacher Roger, I will ask you to take care of this boy Long. Garp smiled reluctantly and handed the 9-year-old dragon to Roger. Garp, Liz's matter. It's okay, it's all my fault. If I could spare more time to spend with her. At this point, Garp's voice gradually choked up, and tears oozed from the corners of his eyes unconsciously. These 9 years, he has been busy sniping pirates on the sea. I only go back to East Blue a handful of times. It can be said. He met Roger more times than his wife. This time I also received news from Slap. Only then did he learn that his wife Liz was critically ill. Hurrying slowly, I finally saw the last time. Then, I still have a task to do next, so this boy Long will have to worry about the teacher. Garp wiped the tears from his eyes. Board the warship. He is also the iron-fisted Vice Admiral who was respected by his subordinates and feared by pirates. Roger took the 9-year-old boy Long and sat down on the sea level. Watching Garp's warship go away. Long, my name is Master Roger. I know that every time he comes back, he will mention you to me and my mother. You are a great person. The young dragon opened his big clear eyes and spoke seriously. Great, I'm still far away. Roger laughed and shook his head. Long, what kind of person do you think your father is? Roger asked. Dad is an idiot, Long said bluntly. Roger was stunned. But I have never resented him. My mother's death was not because of my father, but because of those nobles. Having said this, Long clenched his little fists. The expression on Roger's face gradually became solemn. He had definitely eliminated all people and things that might have anything to do with Liz. There should be no retaliation. Besides, if that's the case, then I am afraid that I will not have to go to Goa Kingdom. Let's have a reckoning from top to bottom. No, Master Roger. The young dragon shook his head and said that his mother did not die young because she was bullied by the nobles. My mother died in depression because she saw too much suffering and weakness in this world. From the young dragon's mouth, Roger learned the real reason for Liz's death. It's not because I miss Garp, or because I'm being unfairly bullied. It's because of her advanced thinking and deep thinking about nobles and common people. There is also the feeling of powerlessness of not being able to take action and make changes in the world. This eventually led to this unsolvable heart disease. At the same time, Roger finally knew. Long's thinking about the world and his revolutionary thoughts were all enlightened from his mother. This idea should never be erased. Dragon. The look on Roger's face gradually became serious. In the next few years, I will teach you everything I have. Do you have the consciousness to accept it? Yes, Master Roger. The young dragon nodded firmly. Chapter 110 Aokiji and Kizaru enter Impel Down open black lens bracket please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. 3 years in a hurry. Deep sea prison Impel Down has a dedicated little jailer. Under Roger's guidance, 4-year-old Magellan follows him around every floor every week. Back and forth. It already possesses a bit of the majesty of the Impel Down director. 5.5 floors underground. Long, a 12-year-old boy, lives between 3 o'clock and 1 line every day. Practice the 6 styles and hockey in the training ground, eat in the restaurant, and finally think about the revolution and the world in your own room. It was obviously the most playful boyhood. Long's mind was filled with world events. This state once worried the Vice Admiral, the Witch Lady and Tia. He wanted to intervene several times so that Long could have an ordinary teenage life. However, he was always blocked by Roger, who severely educated him until he lost the strength before giving up. But later, somehow, Miss Witch and Tia Vice Admiral want to interfere with the dragon from time to time in order to obtain Roger's education. Time flies. Time comes to 1480. It's that time of year again. But this time it was not Roger's agreement. But it belongs to the witch girl Esmeralda. Started 20 years ago, Miss Witch regularly goes out once every 10 years. Reminisce and meet with former partners. This year is no exception. Absolutely no exceptions. Because this year is likely to be the last time. Spring began in 1480. After explaining the big and small matters, Roger took Miss Witch and left Impel Down quietly. A week later, they came to South Blue, an ordinary peaceful town island. There is a children's welfare home on the edge of the town. Dozens of children, large and small, are adopted there. The name of the director of the orphanage is Arabella, former vice captain of the White Pearl Pirates. It has been almost 50 years since the Six Kings incident. Arabella, the once youthful vice captain, is now very old. Sister, you are still as young and charming as ever. I am so happy that you can hold on until you see your sister again. Arabella. Miss Witch's eyes were red and she gently hugged her former sister. Roger shook his head sadly. Turn around and go out, leaving space for them. Grandpa Roger, good, under the organization of the nuns in the welfare home. Children of all sizes asked in unison. Roger smiled and nodded. It's like magic to conjure up many candies and snacks. It attracted bursts of cheers from the children. Finally Roger's eyes fell on the shade of a tree not far away. A sloppy little boy with natural curly hair sat alone in the corner and yawned. From the moment he came here, Roger had noticed it. Really, Kuzan, you are lazy again, come here and say hello to Grandpa Roger. A nun spoke anxiously. It's okay, no problem. Roger waved his hand and stepped forward. Come to the natural curly boy. Your name is Kuzan. Yes, sir. Would you like some candy? Roger conjured up a lollipop like magic. Not really. Kuzan yawned lazily. It's not okay to be so lazy. So Kuzan, do you want to go out to sea with me and see the sea? Roger asked. Kuzan frowned. After a moment of thinking, he nodded seriously. You can have this. Ever since. Came in a small boat for 2 people. There was one more when I went back. I took Kuzan to take a bath in town and bought some new clothes. The group of 3 returned to Impel Down. From now on, the training ground on the 5.5th floor underground of Impel Down has a young boy who is good at goofing off. Instructors' roars like, where is Kuzan hiding and lazing again? Became more frequent. The other side, after an encounter with future frozen Admiral Aokiji Kuzan, Roger seems to have found new fun and goals. Start searching for the remaining 2 future admirals. Flash Admiral Kizaru Porosalino, Magma Admiral Akainu Sakazuki. The only information I know is that these 2 people are from North Blue. Even if the location is limited, North Blue is still vast. Explored several times, always found nothing. In the end, Roger relied on the power of Vice Admiral Tia and Marine. Finally, the end of the year 1480. Roger came to an ordinary village in North Blue. This is a small village similar to the village of Silabu where East Blue Usopp comes from. Please give me flowers. The people live and work in peace and contentment, working at sunrise and resting at sundown. Same. There is also a large family like Kaya in this small village. It's just that she's not a young lady, but a young master. Master Porsalino. This day, the squinty-eyed 15-year-old boy climbed to the highest point of the island. Here I met a man who was like a magic stick. Young man, do you want to see the vastness of the sea? Roger asked with a smile. In no mood, the little fresh meat Porsalino shook his head warily. Roger choked. Well, of course it's not that I don't want to miss it at all. I've seen everything about this village and the island, and the only thing left is the sea. The world outside the village must be wonderful, but it is also too dangerous outside. I just want to see the world and don't want to get involved in danger, because I will die. Porsalino said. The young face showed longing and fear for the outside world. Then please allow me to ask again, young man, do you desire power? Roger asked seriously, after a series of wrangling incidents of this kind. Finally, the little fresh-faced Porsalino officially became Roger's new disciple. As for his parents, after Roger summoned several warships to reveal his identity, you can no longer agree to what you have already agreed to. As a big family in the village, they want nothing more. I just hope that my son at home can have a promising future. Now is the best opportunity. See Circle Calendar Spring 1481. Future Flash Admiral Kizaru Porsalino into Impel Down. The last Magma Admiral Sakazuki. Roger and Marine searched for a long time to no avail. In the end, I had no choice but to put it aside for the time being. Above the sea, the wind roared. The conflict and confrontation between Marine and pirates are gradually escalating. Rox D. Zebek established his supreme position as the sole overlord of the sea. Dominated the entire New World. And, 3 years later. See Circle Calendar 1484. A super big event that is enough to overturn the event. The Battle of the Valley of the Gods begins. At Chapter 111 Beehive Island. Rock's Pirates luxurious lineup. Open black lens bracket please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. New World, Beehive Island, Hachinosu. This place has been a chaotic and lawless island since ancient times. Chaos, violence, fighting, blood, are the main theme here. Especially 20 years ago, when the overlord of the sea, Rocks, occupied this island as a base camp. The earth was also dyed bright red with blood. This is the real horror of killing. See Circle Calendar 1484. A major event that could subvert the world begins here. A month ago, Overlord of the Sea Rocks posts hero posts widely. Summon the heroes of the New World to gather on Beehive Island. Today is the day of the party. Beehive Island is everywhere. Countless pirate ships, large and small, are moored. On the island, swords can be seen everywhere. Blood rained down and limbs flew everywhere. Horrifying. The castle banquet hall is like a honeycomb. Ha 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 ha. Mine, all the treasures in the world belong to me, Captain John. The big pirate John, wearing a sultry pink windbreaker and a captain's hat, laughed wantonly. John, don't go too far. Another pirate captain scolded. Yes, Captain John, don't forget our share. Even his subordinates expressed dissatisfaction with John's greed. Still as good as ever, John. The strong man covered in silver white armor sneered. What did you say? Silver Axe, do you want to fight? Captain John's eyes flashed. That's enough, it's almost time for you two to stop. The man with a long black beard reaching to his waist shouted in a deep voice. Akoku, don't forget our mission, now is the critical moment to realize Mr. Beckett's ambition. Akoku said solemnly. Captain John and Silver Axe are both silent. Nobody knows. They are the great pirates who roam the sea. On the surface, they are in separate camps. In fact, they have been in the same camp since the beginning. That was the dark Uranus Beckett of 50 years ago. It's not just Rocks who dominates the sea. John, Silver Axe, Akoku and others with a bounty of more than 2 billion are also capable men that Beckett secretly collected and trained. Now, these scattered pirates merged into one. The real Ocean Overlord group, Rocks Pirate was born here. Except John, Akoku et al. At this moment, in this Beehive Island banquet hall. There were also more murderers gathered who responded to the call. Of course, there are also some people who join the gang in a daze because they are confused. Gia ha 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 ha. Arrogant, unruly laughter echoed over the banquet hall. That's the flying pirate admiral. Golden Lion Shiki. He's actually here too. Did he also come in response to Captain Rock's call? Seeing the man flying freely in the sky, people everywhere in the hall couldn't help but be shocked and in an uproar. Gia ha 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 ha. Little ones, although we have only been together for a short time, let us go to subvert the world together with Captain Rocks. Golden Lion Shiki laughed. A few words. Bring the atmosphere of the banquet hall to the highest level. Many people who were wary of it now let down their guard. Gia ha 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 ha. Golden Lion Shiki laughed proudly. If this operation can really overturn the world, then he can get a piece of it. It doesn't matter if you can't. After the fall of Rock's pirate, this huge army with nowhere to go will become his flying pirate fleet. By then, he will soar into the sky, jump up, replace Rocks and become the new maritime overlord. This is the main reason why Golden Lion Shiki chose to answer the call and join Rock's pirate. Besides, if we can get some like-minded, strong people on board to help, that's really the best thing. Golden Lion Shiki thought so. His gaze swept across the entire venue. Finally, a corner of the venue was locked. Spacious and comfortable sofa. A tall man with a height of 3 meters was sitting on the sofa in a large shape. A head of golden curls swayed. The man's eyes were slightly confused. A few months ago, because he lost to Rocks in the pirate game Dave backfight, he could only fulfill the ancient tradition and was forced to join. Nah, Newgate. A tall, graceful blonde girl came forward gracefully. He crossed his legs and sat directly on Edward Newgate's lap. Newgate is really awesome, stop being bored and have a drink together. The blonde eats her beans to her heart's content. However, young Whitebeard was not moved at all. Well, Miss Bajan, give up, Newgate doesn't like your type. Linlin, a 30-year-old young woman, laughed. Say it. Her gaze fell not far away. Bread, my cake is not ready yet. Right away. Brother Kaido, hurry up and bring sister's wine. The young woman Linlin turned to look at the 18-year-old horned young man on the other side. One of the future emperors of the sea, Kaido of the beasts. Certainly. Now 18 years old, he is still a younger brother. I am just the humblest intern of Rock's Pirate 3.5. Come right away, Sister Linlin. Kaido wiped the sweat from his forehead and ran over with a box of wine. At this time, wahahaha, accompanied by unruly laughter. The wine in his hand suddenly took off uncontrollably. His body also flew into the sky. Golden Lion Shiki raised his hand and waved. The box of wine he touched flew up. Take Kaido to fly over the crowded crowd and return to the secluded private room. Hey, Newgate, it's been so long. Golden Lion Shiki grinned. Shiki, you bastard, you're not dead yet. The young Whitebeard Edward Newgate's eyes were open and closed, shining brightly. Chapter 112 Golden Lion Whitebeard Linlin. Super Buster Call. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. Gia ha 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 ha. Don't be so cold, Newgate. What happened in the past is in the past, I don't care anymore. Let's get along well with each other from now on. Golden Lion Shiki grinned. Take the initiative to let go of past grudges. Want to shake hands with Newgate and make peace. It's better to avoid it. Even if I'm here now, it doesn't mean I have to get along well with you. Newgate's pale golden eyes opened and closed slightly, and he refused coldly. Hear the words. Golden Lion Shiki's face couldn't help but feel slightly cold. Several previous encounters. It's obvious that he is the one who gets frustrated every time. I have put aside my pride and want to shake hands and make peace. As a result, Newgate still had the same attitude. It's as if it's worth 2,500,000 yuan. I really can't endure it, but I have to endure it. Golden Lion Shiki's expression changed several times. Finally, I took this breath. There is no need to ruin the image that you have worked so hard to build over such a trivial matter. Get out of the way, kid. 23 inches. Golden Lion Shiki raised his hand and pulled his obedient intern brother Kaido aside, and sat down next to Linlin. Kaido, who almost stumbled to the ground, did not dare to get angry or speak. He just diligently performed his duties as a younger brother and filled Newgate with wine. Linlin, what do you say? Captain Rox has a big plan. Do you want to form a team with me? We should take care of each other. Also, I heard Linlin that you want a strong bloodline, so what do you think of me? Golden Lion Shiki looked at Charlotte Linlin with enraptured eyes, salivating in his eyes. 30-year-old Linlin, although her figure is slightly out of shape due to giving birth to Katakuri and others, she is still in her prime. She is far from becoming the fat big mom image of future generations. Well, Shiki, I don't like strong men. Charlotte Linlin laughed. Compared to Shiki, he also favors his younger brother, Kaido. Because she can be bullied at will. Ha 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 ha. It was rejected as I expected. Shiki, give up. I told you a long time ago, the two freaks over there can only be controlled by Captain Rox. You'd better save your energy. The pirates not far away were sarcastic and laughing wantonly. Golden Lion Shiki's face darkened. The forehead is densely covered with black lines. He failed in Newgate and Linlin one after another. Even if he is a ninja turtle, his face could no longer look good. Negotiations failed. Golden Lion Shiki is no longer obsessed with the two of them. Instead, he went to trick other like-minded people into joining. Linlin. Finally, Newgate opened his pale golden eyes and spoke for the first time. While talking, he waved his hand. Miss Bajan, the blonde leopard print girl who was lying on top of him, flew out. What is it, Newgate? Charlotte Linlin waved her hand. Bao Bao and his younger brother Kaido nodded in unison and stepped back. The war hasn't started yet, it's not too late to withdraw now. Newgate said solemnly. What about you? Why don't you quit? Charlotte Linlin's eyes flashed. I lost to Rox, so I have to do something for him. This is my benevolence and I can never violate it, but you are different, you can still retreat. Newgate spoke solemnly. Yes, but why should I retreat? Charlotte Linlin asked rhetorically. You should know that in this war, that person, Dad will come. Newgate said. If he sees you, so what? Anyway, I am the one who has been given up a long time ago. That person has completely died to me. He has already said that no matter what he does next, I am free. He will not have any more problems. Put one's oar in. Charlotte Linlin seemed angry and spoke. Dad never gives up on his children. Newgate said. That's enough. No need to say any more. In short, I will definitely participate in this war. Charlotte Linlin said firmly. Since 5 years ago, that person never appeared in front of her again. So this is the only chance. Charlotte Linlin won't give up. Since you have made up your mind, I won't say anything more. Newgate shook his head. Sudden. Without warning. A shrill siren sounded over the island. What happened? As Captain Rox coming, the drunken pirates asked in a daze. Wrong. Everyone, wake up. Something bad is going to happen, everyone. Marine Buster call is coming. Several pirates on guard shouted with all their strength. What did you say? Marine Buster call. The pirates were shocked. It's too late to do anything. The next second, just hear bang 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 bang. The sound of artillery fire continued. Countless cannonballs landed on the ground of Beehive Island, causing the island to tremble slightly. The leaderless pirates were in panic. Gia ha 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 ha. Golden Lion Shiki soars into the sky, attracting everyone's attention. It's just a marine, there's nothing to be afraid of. This is our base camp, we are the overlord of the sea, Rox pirate. Golden Lion Shiki laughed. Come on, come with me and defeat Marine. Right, that's right, we are Rox pirate. So what if it's Marine? 273 inches. We have the overlord of the sea and countless skilled players here. The pirates were excited. Under the leadership of Golden Lion Shiki, they launched a strong attack to meet the Marine Buster call. At the same time, deep inside Beehive Island, a wild man 3 meters tall with flying red hair stood in front of a large tomb. Mr. Beckett, You still haven't waited for this day after all, but it's okay. I will definitely fulfill your last wish. Whether it is the island of gods or that white yaksha, I will definitely defeat them for you to see. Overlord of the Sea Rocks D. Zebek's mouth widened in a huge arc. Captain Rocks, something bad is going to happen. Marine is coming. The enemy is 10 warships led by Marine Admiral and several Vice Admirals. This is a super buster call. Several pirates hurriedly shouted reports. Buster call. Marine Admiral. Just in time. Rocks laughed arrogantly. A ghost-like aura steamed from his body. Let's use the blood of Marine Admiral to add a touch of color to this expedition. Boom. See Circle Calendar June 1484. Marine Super Buster Call. Destroy. One of the highest combat forces in Naval Headquarters, Admiral is dead. Marine was shocked from top to bottom. Chapter 113 Death Knell. The Will of D. Cold-blooded 5 Elders. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. Naval Headquarters, Marineford. Damn it, who gave the order? Whose order did the New World G1 base warships and Admiral receive to launch a buster call on Hive Island without authorization? Why didn't you report it until now? Marine Marshal Raymond, who was still in office at the age of 90, roared angrily. The old body could not stop trembling from the anger. Report, Marshal Raymond. Yes, it's a direct order from the world government. Intelligence Officer Commodore reported tremblingly. World government, it's world government again. I don't care about world government's orders. Send my orders. Cancel the buster call immediately and return the entire ship. Marshal Raymond gave a commanding order. Yes. The generals in the marshal's office quickly pushed open the door and wanted to convey the marshal's order. Raymond looked at the seat opposite. Before he could say anything, he shook his head again. Vice Admiral Tia retired 2 years ago and went back to Impel Down to retire. At this time, there is no one who can discuss it. Marshal Raymond frowned deeply, feeling strong uneasiness in his heart. I don't know how much time has passed. When? Dang dang. The rapid and heavy sound of the bell woke Raymond up. The Oak's bell rang 9 times, which was the death knell. Ring 90 times in a row, this is a great morning. Marshal Raymond. No. Something bad is going to happen. Admiral, and everyone from Buster Call, everyone was wiped out. World Center. Holy Land Mariajoy. What did you say? Total annihilation. How could it be total annihilation? Besides, it's too fast. That's the Super Buster Call led by Admiral. In the meeting hall, the old people representing the highest strength in the world screamed in shock. Yes, Lord 5 Elders, Marine Buster Call, all are destroyed. The power of Rocks, the Overlord of the Sea, and his group are far beyond our imagination. Something that has never been imagined has happened. All the great pirates of the New World have formed an alliance. No, it's not an alliance. According to the latest information, Big Pirate John, Silver Axe, and Akoku are branches of Rock's Pirate. In addition, there is the Flying Pirates Golden Lion Shiki. Except for a few teams such as the Roger Pirates, all the pirates in the New World have responded to Rock's call. CP intelligence agents from the world government arrived one after another. Report these big news to the 5 Elders that are enough to shake the world. Compared with the exposed information, the huge losses of Admiral and Buster Call seem to be nothing. Damn it, Rocks D. Zebek, you underestimated him. Is it D's will again? D, why do you always have to fight against us? The bald old star with the birthmark and others all looked ferocious. No, it has nothing to do with D. This is a continuation of the old era. The oldest 5 Elders' eyes opened and closed slightly, shining brightly. That Rocks inherited the legacy of Beckett, the remnant of the previous era. Their next goal is the Valley of the Gods. Nani, it's the Valley of the Gods again. Why do the damn pirates keep holding on to the Valley of Gods? Asshole, it's all because of that guy. If that bastard Grant hadn't attacked the Valley of the Gods in the first place, how would the pirates have noticed? The veins on the old sword-wielding samurai star's forehead grew sharply. At this point, it is useless to say more. The most important thing is to stop the pirates' attack. Rocks must not be allowed to capture the Valley of Gods and wait for what is there. The oldest 5 Elders ordered in a deep voice. I'm going to contact Raymond now. Marine must come out in force this time and use all their combat power to deal with the crisis. The bald old star with birthmarks said decisively. But, we have just trapped a large number of Marines, and even caused the loss of an admiral's combat power, that guy Raymond. So what? Their Marines are originally serving our world government. You are right, and with this hatred, the Marines will really go all out and use 120% of their power to avenge the dead compatriots. In a sense, the destruction of Admiral and Buster Call is not completely meaningless. It should be to stimulate Marines' fighting spirit. The 5 Elders spoke one after another calmly. The bloody battle damage figures. It didn't make their hearts fluctuate at all. By the way, does Impel Down need to participate in this war? The blonde old star suddenly spoke. The huge meeting hall fell into silence. Impossible. No need. You must not let that old guy climb the Valley of the Gods. This is the iron rule we set before. What if he finds out? The bald old star with birthmark said firmly. However, this war is destined to be 10 times more difficult than 50 years ago. The Overlord of the Sea, Rock's pirate, is 10 times more terrifying than the original Six Kings group. There is also Rox, the strongest pirate in 800 years. I'm worried that even if Marine devotes all his combat power, he won't be able to defend it. The blonde five elders frowned worriedly. I also agree. The curly-haired aristocrat five elders raised their hands. If that inscrutable old guy is willing to join the war, this war will be relatively easy. Well done. Besides, what I'm most looking forward to is the old guy facing off against Rox, with both sides exchanging lives for lives and falling together. This is simply the most ideal ending. Curly-haired aristocrat five elders flattering fantasy. Yes, I agree on this issue. That old guy is now 80 years old. Although he can't live for a few more years, I just can't bear to see him alive. Old Star, the sword-wielding warrior, gritted his teeth. If he is allowed to fight in this war, even if he is lucky enough to survive, it will shorten his life by several years and make him die early. If you are worried, let me follow you this time. The Old Star, a sword-wielding samurai, volunteered. After a moment of silence. If no one objects, then it's decided. Immediately issue the regulations for participating in the war to Impel Down. Five elders immediately decided to set up the factory. Chapter 114 Roger joins the Battle of the Valley of Gods. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. Deep Sea Prison, Impel Down. Today is as peaceful as ever. Most of the tenants don't cry or make trouble. Under the supervision of the jailers, they worked honestly. 5.5 floors underground, 6-style training ground. The jailers, big and small, are still sweating hard. 9-year-old Magellan, 11-year-old Kuzan, 17-year-old Boy Long and 20-year-old Bolu. Report Instructor, Porcelino is nowhere to be found. Instructor, I saw Porcelino sneaking out with a bag of melon seeds earlier. That guy Porcelino must have gone to eternal hell again to listen to the prisoners bragging. Report to Instructor, Leonzon is also missing. Several jailers responsible for looking for Porcelino reported one after another. Wow. The instructor in charge of teaching the 6 forms of Porcelino yelled in a frenzy. Those two boys, Porcelino and Kuzan, are obviously so talented, but why are they so lazy? Director Roger, hurry up and take care of them. Instructor's frantic shouting echoed in the training ground and even reached the outside world through the soundproof wall. Roger, who had just reached the door of the training ground, paused and turned around to leave. Otherwise, instructors will definitely grab him and complain. Kuzan and Porcelino, the 2 future Marine Admirals, are good at everything except being lazy. Roger was seriously suspicious. Zephyr has a bad relationship with Kizaru. Just because he is the most lazy. Now Impel Down the 6th position instructor's violent roar. It is most likely a true portrayal of the future Zephyr. The idle director Roger wandered around. Come to the director's office. Deputy Director Baka is immersed in his work. Roger nodded. Without waiting for Baka to stay, he decisively disappeared. Calculating the time, it will probably be in the near future, the battle between Lux and the Valley of Gods. Roger's eyes were deep, even if you are 80 years old. Nor does he suffer from Alzheimer's disease. Both physically and mentally and at your peak. After 80 years of life, there are still 360 years left. Although he looks like a middle-aged man in his 50s, if Roger wants, he can look like he is 30 or even 20 years old again. But under normal circumstances, Roger would not do this. After all, he is the director of Impel Down. We also have an identity. He must look more stable and mature. Also, what if Roger went back to his 20s? CDAF. The 2 old sisters on the 5.5th floor will definitely not be able to control it. I'm afraid I won't be able to leave the house for a week. Although Roger doesn't hate that kind of thing either. But it's never enough. 3 hours once a day is enough. The Battle of the Valley of the Gods, I'm really looking forward to it. And those idiot disciples, if we encounter them this time, let's teach them a lesson together. Roger thought with a smile. Go back and see if there is any news from Shaw. Roger returns to the 5.5th floor underground. At the same time. 5.5-story top secret black room. The fax phone buzzed. Stream major events on the sea to Impel Down as soon as possible. Hey, this is. When Roger returns to level 5.5. The fragrance suddenly hits my nose. Roger. The royal sister Tia took a quick step and threw herself into Roger's arms. The pretty face that has not been eroded by time shows extreme anxiety and urgency. What's wrong, Xiaoya? Roger touched Tia's head. Roger, please, let me be Marine. Tia pleaded. Roger couldn't help but be confused about his wife's sudden request. 2 years ago. Tia is 80 years old. I still wear old age makeup every day and work in the headquarters. Roger felt that she had dedicated so many years to Marine, and that was enough. So she resigned to Raymond without any explanation. Of course, Raymond wanted to give Roger some face. He was released immediately and readily. Tia was reluctant at first. He even got into trouble with Roger. However, During these 2 years of wonderful cohabitation, she gradually fell in love with retirement life. Never mention Marine again. However, today, Roger turned to look at Miss Witch. Miss Witch didn't say anything, she just handed Roger the newly released Major Incident Report. New World Beehive Island Pirate Alliance. Led by Rox, the Overlord of the Sea, the largest pirate force is formed. John, Silver Axe, Akoku, Golden Lion. Hachinosu Super Buster Call. The Admiral and the warship were all destroyed. Please, Roger, this is really a special situation, I have to go back. Tia's eyes were slightly red. Her sense of justice drives her. We absolutely cannot just sit idly by and ignore it. She has to do something. Roger hugged his wife gently. His big hands patted her smooth back. Don't worry, I will take care of everything. But, let me, the husband, take your place, and I will work hard for your sake. Roger said seriously. Battle of the Valley of the Gods. As early as decades ago. Roger has been waiting. Definitely not to be missed. What is there on that island hidden by the world government? Now it's time to unveil the mystery. Okay, Xiaoya, trust our husband, he will handle everything properly. Whether it's Rox or who it is, it doesn't matter. The Snow Witch Esmeralda hugged Tia and comforted her softly. But, what else did Tia want to say? Brew brew gaga. What's going on? Baka. Director. Just now, a messenger from the world government came and wanted the director to go to the island of gods to deploy defenses to deal with the upcoming crisis. Deputy Director Baka reported. Oh, Roger raised his eyebrows slightly. I didn't expect world government to be so intuitive this time. But this time, even if the government doesn't say anything, Roger will join the war. Tell the world government I will go. Mariajoy, Council Hall of the Five Elders. That old guy actually agreed so readily. There must be some fraud involved. The bald old star with birthmark said firmly. Okay, you were the one who was afraid that he wouldn't accept it before, but now you're worried about being deceived if you accept it, don't be so suspicious. It doesn't matter whether he is cheating or not, since you have made your decision, let's do it to the end. The other 5 elders glanced at the birthmark 5 elders with strange expressions. He was so angry that his face turned blue and red. Chapter 115 The Roger Pirates join the battle in the Valley of Gods. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. New World. The Beehive Island is riddled with holes. Hachinosu. Lahahaha. Kids, are you all ready? On the high platform, a wild man with wild red hair laughed wantonly. Behind him, blood shot into the sky, releasing a ghost-like aura. It's already been prepared. Captain Rox. Lord of the Sea, Lord Rox. Captain Rox is the sole ruler of this sea. That's right, both Marine and world government will become excessive. Captain Rox, please lead us to the top of the world. Hundreds of thousands of New World thugs and pirates responded in unison, with a magnificent momentum. Ha 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 ha, now that you are ready, come with me and go capture the world. Overlord of the Sea Rox D. Zebek grinned. Oh. The whole audience was restless and echoed. Gia ha 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 ha, kids, follow Captain Rox's footsteps and move forward. On the second floor high platform, Golden Lion Shaki, one of the commanders of the Ninth Army, laughed. Gudong. Also on the second floor, the great pirate John drank a bottle of wine in big gulps. Don't you know what kind of treasures are hidden on that island of gods? A look of infinite greed flashed across Captain John's face. What a superficial man, John. Our attack on the island of gods this time is for the ultimate thing that no one has ever seen. As long as he has that thing, Captain Rox will definitely be able to dominate the entire world. Legion Commander Silver Axe said longingly. The nobles of the world, the celestial dragons, can hunt to their heart's content this time. Akoku, who had a beard that reached his waist, tightened his grip on the sword in his hand. Gia, it's so unbearable. I can't wait to get to that god's spouse island. The commander of the 7th Army was gearing up. As the island named after a god really sleeping in a god. Or maybe it's a devil. Origin. The commander of the 8th Army guessed. Whether he is a god or a devil, it doesn't matter. In front of my handsome face, even gods must surrender, because I am the most handsome man in the world. The commander of the Sissy 9th Legion, the user with Paramesh's sweet fruit ability, looked intoxicated. He tilted his head and winked at the 2 cadres, who remained silent not far away. Get out of the way, you damn bitch. Charlotte Linlin scolded coldly. Ah, the commander of the 9th Army seemed to have been hit in the heart, looking severely shocked. Very good, Linlin. You have successfully aroused my interest. You will definitely become the captive of my handsome face. Charlotte Linlin frowned and looked aside. Newgate, you want a family, go, help me kill him, and I will give birth to a child for you. Newgate, stop being delusional. Linlin, Newgate only likes me. A gathering place for small cadres under the high platform, Miss Bajan, the blonde leopard print girl, said proudly. Ignore Miss Bajan's shouting. Newgate, if it's you, I won't mind. I'll just let you be my last and only man. Together, we can create the strongest family in the world. Charlotte Linlin grinned. How about it, Newgate? You want your family, and I want bloodline combat power. This is a win-win situation. Besides, if Master Roger knew, he would definitely support it. Newgate. He knew that Charlotte Linlin was not joking. Only, Linlin, family is not a prop. What I want is a family like my father. Even if we are not related by blood, we are still a family. Newgate said with a longing expression. What kind of family is a family that is not related by blood? Sooner or later they will be ruthlessly abandoned. You'd better wake up as soon as possible, Newgate. Charlotte Linlin sneered again and again. After participating in this incident, you should know the consequences. If you are caught by the old man, you will be imprisoned until Impel Down. Even so, I am willing. Newgate said calmly. Humph, it's really unreasonable. Charlotte Linlin snorted coldly and ignored it. Sure enough, a man who is too strong is not lovable at all. A weak little brother like Kaido is still lovable. But it's too early to eat it now. Snapped. 3-story high platform. Rocks, the overlord of the sea, broke the wine glass in his hand. This is like a signal. The next second, the sound of exploding wine glasses and bottles came one after another. Little ones, let's go. Rocks waved his hand and shouted orders. Unveiling the prelude to the greatest war of this era. Oh, please give me flowers. The whole place rioted. Gia ha 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 ha, with the laughter of the golden lion. A dark cloud came from the sky, covering the world. That was one pirate ship after another, coming in a mighty manner. The super 3-masted sailboat at the head was slightly old, and the hull carried the decaying atmosphere of time. The name of the ship is the Sentinel. 50 years ago Dark Uranus Beckett's mothership. Whoosh. The overlord of the sea, Rocks, rose into the sky and landed steadily on the bow of the Sentinel mothership. Mr. Beckett, just take a good look at it from the sky, I will definitely succeed. Rocks clenched his fists firmly. At this moment, an island fluttering in the wind and rain in New World. A big red 3-masted sailboat was moored quietly on the shore. 0. A few weak lights illuminated the dark sky. The battle between Roger, Marine and Rocks pirate is inevitable. The handsome young man with blonde hair and a lightning scar on his left eye spoke in a deep voice. He's Rayleigh. Pluton Rayleigh. Roger's first partner was in East Blue. A journey that lasted more than 20 years. All enemies he encountered received tickets from hell. Therefore, Silver Fully was dubbed Pluton's area by the world. Ah, I know. Roger, who was 39 years old at the time, took a deep breath. The location of the war has been decided, the Celestial Dragon's island hidden by the world government, the Island of Gods. Interesting. Copper Jabba, the third in command of Roger's regiment with 2 axes on his back and shaggy black hair, grinned. Captain Roger, it will definitely be a fun adventure. What secrets are hidden on the island of Celestial Dragons? What is the ultimate thing that Guy Rocks has been pursuing all these years? Everything will be revealed in this battle. Captain Roger, let's go too. While Marine and Rocks are fighting, let's steal the treasure secretly and make them mad. Ha 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 ha, what a lot of bamboo shoots. 2 bamboo shoots. But I like it. The more than 20 pirates of Roger's group are all gearing up and eager to try. Ah ha 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 ha, then let's do it. Roger grinned. Little ones, let's go sailing. Chapter 116 The battle begins. Encounter. Roger and the Roger Pirates. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. Haiyuan calendar year 1484, Island of Gods. The endless sea rolls up thousands of waves. Dark sky. Thick dark clouds were deposited and dense. Thunder rumbled. Echoes in the sky, lasting forever. Purple electric snakes disappeared in the clouds. Through the sky and the sea. The storm is about to come and the wind is filling the building. Whether it is the changes in natural weather or the expressions of the people on this island. They are all foreshadowing a major upcoming event. On the rocks on the coast of a special island named after God. 3 heroic Marines stood facing the wind. The cloak of justice behind him rustled in the wind. The endless strong wind could not shake their figures in the slightest. It's Vice Admiral Garp, Sengoku Vice Admiral and Zephyr Vice Admiral. The strongest iron triangle lineup of R-600, Navy Army, this is really reliable. Yes, they are Marines' hope. They will definitely take over as the new 3rd General in the future. I feel like with the 3 of them here, there is nothing to be afraid of. Stop chatting, get ready quickly, and let those sons of bitches in Rocks Pirate know how good we are. There were whispers from the groups of sailors passing by on the coast. The eyes looking at the trio on the rock were full of reverence. As long as those 3 people are there, even if they are about to face the invasion of the Sea Overlord, they have nothing to fear. It's almost here, those bastards. On the left side of the reef, the man with short black hair, a strong physique, and muscles like a horned dragon holding up the Marine uniform spoke in a deep voice. He is Marine Iron Fist Vice Admiral Monkey D. Garp, who is 40 years old. Various defenses have been basically prepared. I hope they can play some role in blocking and weakening the monster pirate group's combat power as much as possible. Even if it doesn't work, it can slightly reduce the damage to the island. On the right side, the 41-year-old Buddha Vice Admiral Sengoku, who has a neatly trimmed hair like a ball, opens his mouth with a solemn expression. Sengoku, the first priority now is not to save the island, but to win this battle. Zephyr, who was promoted to Vice Admiral 3 years ago, shook his head. That's right, Sengoku, you should know the power of those monsters in rocks. The moment they decide to attack the island can be wiped off the map. Garp spoke solemnly. Also, don't even think about protecting those stupid celestial dragons who haven't retreated. Just let them die if they want to. Garp. Sengoku glared and then warned solemnly. You can't say this kind of thing again in the future. If someone from the world government hears it, it will inevitably lead to trouble. Yes, Garp waved his hand nonchalantly. Apparently he didn't take Sengoku's words to heart. I go my own way. Such is the character of Garp. He will be standing here today. Not to protect the celestial dragons and their secrets. He just wants to avenge Admiral and the sailors who were destroyed on Beehive Island not long ago. Hey, Garp, Sengoku, Zephyr, how long are you going to keep posing there if you don't work? The 38-year-old, mature and steady Imperial sister Hijau scolded. PFF'd. Ha 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 ha, it's coming. Garp laughed. Return with Sengoku and Zephyr to help build up the defenses. Xiaohei. I heard. Zephyr frowned slightly and paused. I heard that Linlin is also on the Rocks team this time. Is it true? Zephyr asked. Yu Jaehei said nothing. It's not just Linlin, there's another rebel like Roger. Garp pursed his lips in displeasure. That idiot Linlin, how long will he give up on himself before he gives up? Sengoku gritted his teeth and his forehead was covered with dense black lines. It's not Linlin's fault, it's all the celestial dragon's fault. Marine Goddess Vice Admiral, he said solemnly. The more I think about it, the angrier I get. Forget it, don't think about it anymore. Garp chewed his teeth. Anyway, if we meet Linlin this time, I won't be merciful and will definitely take her back. Sengoku spoke firmly. The Goddess Vice Admiral Crane glanced sideways at Sengoku. What's wrong? Sengoku was puzzled. Sengoku, I'm telling you, if you want to be beaten, just say so. Yuji, he said. Xiaohei, don't underestimate me. Even if Linlin is a monster, I am not a vegetarian. Sengoku was dissatisfied. I don't mean being beaten by Linlin. Yu Jaehei said. Teacher Roger has also confirmed that he will join the war. If the teacher sees you bullying Linlin, he will definitely be beaten. Zephyr added. Gah. Sengoku stared, then sighed feebly. Toot toot. At this time, a piercing siren suddenly sounded over the island of gods. All the elite marine generals on the island were excited. Tighten your body immediately and enter the top alert state. Garp, Sengoku, Zephyr and Vice Admiral are no exception. All 4 eyes fell overseas. The already dark sky became darker and deeper. Endless clouds are coming soon. Rocks pirate. At the same time, somewhere in the sea about 50 miles away from the island of gods, a large 3-masted sailing ship was bobbing in the waves. There are 2 mermaid statues on the bow of the sailboat. Flying on the mast is the flag of freedom. The ship's name is Oro Jackson. Belongs to the Roger Pirates. At this moment, the atmosphere of 2.7 on the deck of the Oro Jackson is a little subtle. There is no consistent carelessness and freedom. At this moment, the atmosphere on the ship was slightly cramped and solemn. All because of the man who suddenly fell from the sky not long ago and beat their captain into a pig's head without any explanation. Senior, drink tea. Old man, do you need back tapping service? Mr. Roger, let me pinch your legs. You old man, eat something to relieve your anger. All the pirates in Roger's group are diligent and busy. Not only did he not avenge his own captain. Instead, serve the other party properly. There is no other reason. Because it was his teacher who beat Roger into a pig's head. Impel Down, the legendary hero. White Yasha Roger. Chapter 117, The Battle of the Valley of Gods begins. Open black lens bracket, please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. That's the captain's teacher. The legendary director of the deep sea prison Impel Down. Roger Shireyasha, the legendary hero of the past era. Anyway, it's a little too scary. That's Captain Roger. He was beaten so badly that he couldn't fight back at all. The pirates of Roger's group were talking a lot. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. The captain must have cared about the relationship between master and apprentice, so he didn't fight back. We all should know best how powerful Captain Roger is when he is serious. Several recent members expressed disbelief. Hey, newcomers, stop talking. The third in command, Copper Jabba, lectured. You are not so naive as to think that Mr. Roger is the captain's teacher, so we are so polite to him. Captain Mu Lien took a deep breath of cigar to calm down his shock. However, the hand holding the cigarette could not stop trembling slightly. It's not just him. Many old people in Roger's group. This moment is a thrill from time to time. Tragic memories of the past came flooding back. They still remember the first time their Roger pirates met Roger. One person and one punch can knock everyone to the ground except Roger 23. As for Roger, same as today, already lying down. That was also the first time they felt the fear of being dominated by Impel Down's legendary hero Shireyasha. The next 20 years, they encountered Roger again several times. The results are as miserable as ever. No matter how much they get stronger during the journey. In front of that person and in front of Roger, he was still a 3-year-old child, vulnerable. This sea must ultimately rely on strength to speak for itself. Being able to win our politeness and respect is enough to show how terrifying the position is. Spencer, a handsome young man with a red ponytail, spoke solemnly. Do you think Rox, the overlord of the sea, is the strongest in the world? No, he is the real strongest. Copper Jabba murmured in shock. Haha, Mr. Roger, please use it. Vice Captain Rayleigh respectfully served a carefully prepared glass of wine. Old Roger took it and took a sip, nodding approvingly. Xiaolei, not bad. Not bad. Are you interested in coming to my place? Roger asked casually. Spare me, Mr. Roger, please don't make such intrusive jokes. Rayleigh grimaced. Senior Roger, when you appear here today, you are going to join the war, right? Pirate Taro, whose head looks like a taro, asked. Roger nodded, noncommittal. Ha ha ha, if Senior Roger joins, then Marine's situation seems to be stable. It seems there is no need for our intervention. Yeah, Senior Roger alone is enough. Not even Rox. Everyone in Roger's group spared no effort in praising him. Are you here to help Marine too? Roger asked rhetorically. Certainly. Rayleigh nodded righteously. Yeah. Not to mention the relationship between my captain and you and that Garp. We can't remain indifferent to that guy Rox, plan alone. If he really succeeds, the world will be destroyed this time. Everyone agreed. Asterisk at caret asterisk dollar asterisk caret. Haha, I didn't expect you to be righteous people. Roger chuckled. Yes, I learned it all from you, senior. We will all keep in mind the teachings of our seniors. At this time, only a snap was heard. Soon, Roger, who was lying dead on the ground a second ago, suddenly stood up. Look in the direction directly facing the bow of the ship. The sky dozens of miles away suddenly darkened. It's about to begin. Kids, get ready to seize the secrets of that island. Roger shouted vigorously. The words fell. He suddenly realized that something was wrong with the atmosphere on the ship. Between turns. Just in time to meet Roger's half-smiling expression. Alas, teacher, why are you here? Roger was shocked. You just know it. This has already been done once. Captain Stupid, have you forgotten who knocked you unconscious earlier? The ball is over. Captain Roger was beaten and lost his memory. Woohoo! A heavy horn sounded. It didn't come from the island of gods. The sound of the trumpet comes from the end of the sea. That is the plundering horn belonging to the overlord of the sea, Rox Pirate. The nearly substantial sound waves expanded in all directions, causing the sea to ripple. A good moment. The trumpets ceased. A black line appears at the end of the sea level. It was one pirate ship after another with skull flags hanging on it. The strongest pirate fleet belonging to Rox, the overlord of the sea, is coming in the wind and waves. La ha 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 ha. On board the huge overlord ship headed by Rox, the overlord of the sea with flamboyant red hair, put down his horn and let out a maniacal laugh that frightened the world. Young ladies, are you ready? Treasures, women, and everything in this world can be found on the island of celestial dragons, which is the best hunting ground. Exclamation mark quote. Overlord of the sea Rox, voices like thunder, echoing over the huge fleet. Gia ha 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 ha, Captain Rox, our flying army is ready, let's have a great time. Another loud laugh came from the sky. Golden Lion Shaki, the commander of the 4th Flying Legion, who was wearing an orange and royal fur coat, was the first to agree. Well, will there be delicious cakes on that island? I want to eat the most delicious cakes in the world. Another pirate ship decorated with candies and snacks. Future 4 Emperors Charlotte Linlin, who is 5 meters tall, has a slender figure and has curves, laughs wantonly. Kaido of the Beasts, who will be one of the 4 emperors with her in the future, is still just an intern. There is no Zone Phantom Beast species, Dragon Fruit, and there is no Immortal Kaido. He is inconspicuous in the Overlord pirate group where monsters gather, he is just a younger brother. Ha 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 ha, kids, taking over this god's island is only the first step. As long as we can defeat the Marine on the island and find the ultimate hidden on the island, then the next goal is to get on the red line. The holy land of Mariajoy. If we take down Mariajoy, I will be the king of the world, and you are all senior ministers. It is not a matter of sealing borders and breaking up the land. This world will belong to us, ha 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 ha. Overlord of the Sea Rox, impassioned narration about the glorious future. As a result, the greedy pirates who heard his ambition suddenly burst into unprecedented cheers. The fighting spirit, fierceness and murderous intent of countless new world monsters are mixed and entangled, soaring into the sky. Even the dark clouds in the sky collapsed, leaving only deep darkness. Gudong. John, the commander of the 1st Legion of Rox Pirate, drank the wine in the bottle in one gulp and held the 2 swords at his waist with both hands. Captain Rox, I want half of the treasure on that island. You're still as greedy as ever, John. The commander of the 7th Legion, a pirate with narrow eyes and a long black beard named Akoku, stood stroking his beard. Of course it's still the old rule, whoever can grab the things on the island will get it. The commander of the 8th Army shouted fiercely. I really can't stand these rude men, they are so classless. The commander of the 9th Legion held an orchid finger, surrounded by swallows. Gia ha 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 ha. Captain Rocks, let me take the lead in this battle. Golden Lion Shiki took the initiative to ask for help. Ah, that's up to you, Shiki, give the Marines a surprise. Rocks grinned. It must be the biggest surprise, ha 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 ha. Golden Lion Shiki laughed and rose into the sky. Boom. The huge shadow crossed the fleet and shrouded towards the island of God in the distance. Fall. Golden Lion Shiki waved his hands down brazenly. Several small islands turned into meteorites and crashed towards the island of gods. The Battle of God's Island begins at this moment. Chapter 118 Rocks, Ability. Fall apart and wake up. Open black lens bracket, please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. What is that? Island, it's an island. Islands are flying in the sky. What exactly is going on? Dead. Dying. Look at the several islands falling from the sky. Faced with this scene that looks like a natural disaster, the sailors stationed in various places on the island of gods could not help but lose their voices in shock. Damn it, is that the Golden Lion Bastard's lion fruit ability? But my words should be able to destroy one. Garp tightened his fist. Wait, Garp, our power is not needed here yet. The goddess Vice Admiral Crane stopped. Regarding Golden Lion Shiki's lion fruit ability, we have discussed it at the meeting, and this situation is still expected. Zephyr spoke in a deep voice. There is a mysterious guardian on the island of gods. There is no need to worry about the impact of meteorites. This is the original word of the world government. Let's just believe it and watch it. Sengoku nodded. But, don't wait for Garp to speak again. Boom. The island, which looked like a natural disaster meteorite, had already fallen head-on. But at this moment, a misty emerald green light curtain appeared out of thin air. The entire God's Island is covered. The green light curtain caused by the terrifying impact of the island's fall produced violent ripples. However, it was never able to penetrate. Instead, the island itself shattered under the reaction force. A long roar fell. The fragments of the island slid along the light curtain towards the edge of the island. Finally, it crashed into the sea, causing a terrifying tsunami. Got saved. The sailors and world government guards on the island all opened their mouths and gasped for air. Every face showed the joy of surviving the disaster. This is the mysterious guardian of the island. Where did it come from? Garp, Sengoku, Xiaohei and Zephyr were moved. The center of the island. Oro Jackson pirate ship, Rayleigh and other members of Roger's group murmured in shock. Is that the ultimate treasure hidden on that island? I'm getting more and more curious, don't you think so, Teacher Roger? Roger rubbed his hands. Between looking back, but it is a discovery. I don't know when. Roger has disappeared from the ship. Everyone in Roger's group let out a sigh of relief. Roger, what's next? Rayleigh calmed down and asked. Ah ha ha ha, of course I will continue the adventure. Roger said matter-of-factly. Rayleigh et al., knowing that there are tigers in the mountains. Roger. Prefer hush and trip. This time it's a real big adventure. At this moment, Rock's pirate grand fleet, the arrogant and unruly laughter of the New World pirate thugs came to an abrupt end with the previous shocking scene. What exactly is going on? Why didn't Shiki's island fall to that island? Can anyone explain what happened before? What's with that strange power? Shocked uproar broke out among the pirates. Hey, Shiki, did you do it on purpose? Captain John, commander of the First Army, scolded. Stop saying such silly things, I've already tried my best. Golden Lion Shiki had a sullen face and retorted angrily. Is that the ultimate treasure on that island? The commander of the Second Army, Silver Axe, is thinking about the enemy. It is indeed an island that has been coveted by heroes of all ages. It is truly extraordinary. Akoku, the commander of the Third Army, stroked his beard and marveled. Captain Rocks, what do we do next? The pirates all looked towards Rocks, the overlord of the sea, on the bow of the ship. La ha 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 ha, full of crazy and unruly laughter. Okay, very good, this is how it becomes more challenging. That's it, the regiment is worthy of my capture. Little ones, there is no need to be afraid, just move forward. The overlord of the sea, Rocks, spreads his arms wide. Accompanied by the roars of the pirates. Rocks, the overlord of the sea on the bow of the mothership, bent his knees slightly. The next second, his figure suddenly shot up into the sky. Tap tap tap. With absolute power, Rocks stepped arrogantly in the air, leading the way and rushing towards the island of gods. The monster is coming. Everyone, get ready. Admiral Kong's voice was heard throughout the island via telephone bugs. The words fell. The faint emerald green protective light curtain that had previously blocked the Golden Lion's island meteorite reappeared. The curvature of the corners of Rocks' mouth gradually widened. He opened his arms, embraced the sky, and embraced the light curtain. Ding. 2 phases touch. A bit of dazzling light shines. Immediately afterwards, countless tiny blazing white lights seemed to appear out of thin air between heaven and earth. Divide the entire sky into countless square areas. The atmosphere is shattered. The sky shattered. The emerald green protective light curtain that had not been penetrated even by the island's fall was shattered. This moment, the whole world seems to be torn apart by the cutting of those lines. This is what Rocks is capable of. This is the ability of the Overlord of the Sea. Paramesh's torn apart abilities awaken. In this pirate world, there are no useless fruits, only useless people. Even an ordinary fruit will exert the power of a god-level fruit if it falls into the hands of a strong person. Just like now, Paramesh a chop chop fruit, in the hands of the later clown Buggy. Just the useless fruit of circus clown comedy. Leo Jiao. However, in the hands of the sea overlords of this era. This is the true god-level ability. A god-level fruit that can compete with the strongest Paramesha. 30 years ago when I got this ability. Rox isn't frustrated by this seemingly hilarious ability. At that time, he only had one question on his mind. That is this chop chop fruit really capable of tearing itself apart? Can this fragmented ability be used on other objects or people? Once this terrible idea appeared, it was like Wang Yang's bursting of the embankment, uncontrollable. And in just 10 years, Rox has completed the awakening of chop chop fruit's ability. In the awakened state, he can tear apart not only himself. There are also all kinds of things in this world. Everything is shattered. Eyes. Chapter 119. Everything is shattered. God of War arms. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. What a terrifying ability that is. Lord of the Sea Rox. Looking at the shattered sky, Zephyr clenched his fist subconsciously, and a little cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Paramesha chop chop fruit, in the illustrated book records so far, is just an extremely ordinary ability. However, in the hands of Rox, it is. The goddess Vice Admiral Crane looked solemn. Anyway, Xiaohei, you must not go near Rox. Garp solemn warning. That Rox ability to disintegrate into pieces can only be resisted with armament hockey. If hockey isn't strong enough, you can't even be complete in front of him. Sengoku took a deep breath and looked gloomy. In past encounters, more than once, he saw his comrades fall to pieces under the man's ability to disintegrate. La ha 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 ha. The wanton, arrogant, and crazy laughter resounded throughout the sky. Young men, follow me and kill everyone on this island. Oh. Offshore, dozens or hundreds of Rox pirate fleets roared in unison. Gia ha 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 ha, leave the intrusion to me. Fly in one breath. Golden Lion Shiki suddenly waved his hands. Hundreds of pirate ships all left the sea and rose into the sky. Assault towards the interior of the Island of Gods. 703 under the Buggy Lion fruit ability. The fortifications built by Marine in advance seemed like nothing. It was easily crossed by the pirates. Ha 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 ha. Well done, Shisai. Then, it's my turn to perform next. Rox, the overlord of the sea, laughed happily and crashed down on the inland plain of the Island of Gods like an angry dragon. Boom. The earth splintered beneath his feet. This is the sacred island of the gods. This is no place for a pirate like you to run wild. Get out of here. The world government's escorts were approaching Rox from all directions, wearing Six-style shaving. Tempest kick, flying finger pistol and countless guns and bullets are intertwined. It turns into a big airtight net, surrounding Rox. Facing that stormy offensive, the smile on Rox's lips grew stronger. I didn't see him making the slightest move. Countless fine rays of light appeared out of thin air in the void, cutting through the fire net between Marine and world government. Immediately afterwards, poof, puff puff, pffffffffffffffffffffffffffffff. Countless blood splattered. Dozens and hundreds of heads fell to the ground. Also being cut open were their bodies. The charging figure of the world government guard suddenly stopped. Under the action of inertia, the head rolled far away and then shattered. Then came their fallen bodies. It also shattered on the ground like building blocks. The blood pooled into a river. There are no more broken limbs or arms on the bloody earth. Some are just pieces of meat one after another. This is what Sengoku really meant when he said it earlier. In front of this man. In front of Rox, the overlord of the sea. Those who don't have enough armament hockey can't even die completely. Sea soldiers, all retreat. A majestic roar erupted. Admiral, empty Admiral, Kong Admiral, not just Sora Admiral, but also. Seeing the two Marines coming together with the highest combat power, the Marines cheered excitedly. Kong, we meet again, this is the first time. Since 50 years ago, you have been inferior to me. Aren't you going to run away now? Rox, the overlord of the sea, twisted his head. No matter how many times, I will never back down. Kong spoke decisively. In that case, let's put an end to it here today. It's time to put an end to this 50-year feud. Rox, the overlord of the sea, grinned. Come on over here, Rox. Admiral Kong crossed his arms. CDAC, a jet black armed air flow that was so dense that it was almost substantial surged out from around him. To the end, more and more substantial jet black armed air flows out. Kong was shrouded in black mist. Boom. The domineering momentum swept across all directions, blowing away the dark curtain, revealing his astonishing appearance at this time. At this moment, Kong's whole body became bright black. Much darker and brighter than black people. The hair like a hedgehog is also fully armed, and the roots stand upside down like steel needles. The top level of cognition is Katakori's ability to predict the future and the Red Count's innate ability to read people's hearts. Similarly, Training armament hockey to ultimate will also produce many unusual changes. This man known as Kong. With this background, the armed color has undergone a qualitative transformation. Armed color. Martial god. Kong shouted. Ha 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 ha. God of war, it sounds majestic, but I don't know how many times your god of war can withstand my smashes. Try it now. Rox, the overlord of the sea, grinned. Between waving hands, a shattering light that was more terrifying than the great swordsman's sword energy cut through the atmosphere. It fell on Kong, who was in the armed state of the god of war. Snort. Kong groaned. The dark arms were crossed. Then suddenly opened. Bounce away the indestructible fragmented light. It seems to have improved a bit compared to last time, but it's still far from enough. Rox laughed. Damn it, Rox, how on earth are you going to ignore me? Another admiral, who had no sense of existence from beginning to end, shouted angrily. I don't know when. He has quietly arrived behind Rox. Armament hockey's famous sword mercilessly slashed at Rox. Get out of here, you idiot. Overlord of the sea, Rox slapped a backhand. The fallen awakening explodes at close range. Kaka. Boom. The sharp sword in Admiral's hand, which was almost made into a black sword, exploded under Rox, overbearing crushing force. Several rays of blood bloomed on his body. Compared to Kong's weapon color. He is also an admiral, but he is much inferior. There is no way to completely defend against Rox, disintegrating awakening. Don't be impulsive. This is not a battle that can be easily won or lost. Kong reminded. Yes, I understand. Lahahaha. Come on, Kong. Boom. Boom. The fierce battle between Marine's highest combat power admiral and the overlord of the sea begins. Chapter 121 Punchman Garp. Big Buddha Sengoku. Black Arm Zephyr. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. For 800 years. Unprecedented. An unprecedented huge war. The Battle of the Valley of the Gods begins. In a sense, this war is a continuation of the Battle of Seikan Island 50 years ago. It's just that this war is 10 times more grand than the original one, more than that. The Battle of Seikan Island. The number of Marines participating in the battle was 50,000. The number of pirates in the Six Kings group was about the same, so there was no full-scale attack. Because before the war ends, no one expected that it would be the end of that era. No one expected it. On the way, an Impel Down Shiro Yakusha appeared. Ended everything with overwhelming strength. It can be said. The battle 50 years ago was completely unexpected. But today is different. In order to guard this island of gods, which is of great significance to world government, Marine invested a total of 200,000 Marine elites. Ordinary sailors are not qualified to participate in the war. Most of the people here now are naval headquarters captains. Except Marine. World government is not ambiguous this time either. There are 100,000 elite guards and CP experts deployed on this island. The other side. The lineup of pirates is equally luxurious and magnificent. Called by Rox, the only overlord of the sea. The new world heroes responded. Many of them, like Golden Lion Shiki, didn't really join the Rox pirate. But I want to take this opportunity to make a big fuss with Rox. By the way, fish in troubled waters and see if you can get some huge benefits. Even so, it is also true that they came here to participate in the war. With the participation of various forces in New World. This time, the number of Rox pirate fleet exceeds 200,000. Although the number is less than the 300,000 of Marine and world government. However, all those participating in this battle are master pirates who can compete with 10, 100, or 1,000. This is a comparison in numbers. There is also the comparison of the strong. The only top Marine warriors who participated in the battle on Seikan Island 50 years ago were Marshal Orlando and Admiral Cook. On the pirate side are Eric the Redbeard and Black Sam the Sea Butcher. Plus Dark Uranus Beckett. On Marine's side, the rebellious Snow Witch joins the team. Finally, there is Roger Shirayasha. This is the entire lineup. However, this time the Battle of the Valley of the Gods. Pirates and Marines. The top combat power of either side is enough to equal those of 50 years ago. Marine and World have Marshal Raymond behind them, Kong and 2 other admirals, as well as Garp, Sengoku, Zephyr, etc. The world government sent sword-wielding warriors 5 elders and several admiral CPs. Not to mention the pirate side. Ocean Overlord Rox. A tough guy that even 2 or even 3 admirals may not be able to defeat. Commander of the 9th Army under his command. Captain John, Silver Axe, Akoku, Golden Lion, Whitebeard, Linlin, all are not ordinary people. In addition, there are more than 1 billion pirates who have gathered because of the interests of many parties. The lineups of both sides participating in the battle are luxurious. Never before. Whether it was Seikan Island 50 years ago. Or the Summit War 36 years later. All incomparable. Perhaps only the one that Roger didn't see, the future world-class war started by the Son of Destiny, Straw Hat Luffy, could be surpassed. Of course, now that Roger has intervened, something is bound to change. That's all in the future. Focus on the present. A battle between nearly 500,000 strong men. From the very beginning, it was like the sky was falling and the earth was falling. The sea is roaring. The situation in the world changes. The universe is about to be turned upside down here. The battlefield between Admiral and Overlord is certainly terrifying. The same goes for other multi-party battlefields. Get out of the way. Iron Fist. In the way. Iron Fist. Iron Fist. Iron Fist. The unparalleled Iron Fist flew across the sky. Like a shooting star passing by. Every punch landed was inevitably accompanied by the pirates vomiting blood, flying backwards, and screaming. That's Marine Iron Fist Vice Admiral Garp getting angry. Even though the rank is still Vice Admiral. But Garp, who was 40 years old at the time, already had real Admiral level combat power. And not Kankan is qualified to be an Admiral. But the top people in Admiral. It's enough to rival or even surpass senior admirals like Kong. In front of Garp's unparalleled Iron Fist, all living beings are equal. No matter it's 10 or 20 million little pirates. Still a big pirate of 100 million, 200 million or even 7 or 8 billion. They were all knocked down with one punch. Now, in this battlefield, Garp is truly the one-punch man. When, it's like a yellow bell ringing. A golden light suddenly emitted from a corner of the battlefield. Vice Admiral Sengoku, the giant Buddha, rises in the wind. Zone's fruit, the giant Buddha form of the Phantom Beast, has the ability to be fully activated. A huge golden Buddha standing tall on the sky fell down. The terrifying impact caused the pirates to fly away in pieces. Vice Admiral Sengoku. Vice Admiral though, but like Garp, it is a genuine Admiral level combat power. Where the giant Buddha shock wave passed, the pirates are unbeatable. Pieces of vomited blood flew backwards. Oh. The morale of the sailors was high. It's Vice Admiral Garp and Sengoku Vice Admiral. Please give me flowers. Not just the two of them, but Zephyr Vice Admiral. Accompanied by the excited roars of the sailors. Black arm breaks out. Vice Admiral Zephyr explodes as the strongest weapon color that is not inferior to Garp. The dark armament hockey spreads in all directions. They are the next generation of admirals. With them here, there's nothing to fear. Go ahead and repel the pirates. The morale of the Marines was greatly boosted. They followed the steps of Garp, Sengoku and Zephyr and became invincible. But, the next generation of Marine Admiral is so interesting. Accompanied by insidious laughter, a ghostly figure passed through the sea soldiers and came to Garp. He has a bounty of 2.2 billion. Big Pirate John. Captain John. The horrifying screams of the sailors stopped abruptly. 0. Along with John's long sword returned to its sheath. Poof. Countless blood splattered. Dozens of naval captains fell to the ground at the same time. Well, the future Marine Admiral is worth killing. An arrogant laugh came, and Silver Axe, the commander of the 2nd Legion in silver-white armor, split the earth with the big axe in his hand. The axe blade shock wave went straight towards Garp. Idiot Silver Axe, this is my prey. The big pirate John was dissatisfied and yelled. Your prey, of course, whoever catches it will get it. Silver Axe laughs. It's so annoying to be so long-winded. Captain John and Silver Axe, in the name of Vice Admiral, we will definitely arrest you. Garp Hockey's roar. He actually wanted to fight 1 against 2. The other direction. Black Arm Zephyr. The long-bearded commander of the 3rd Legion, Aokiji, drew the sword from his waist. Come on, Aokiji, let's continue the unfinished battle from last time. Zephyr clapped his fists together and struck out. Mid-air. Gia ha 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 ha, what a spectacular scene. Golden Lion Shiki laughed and hovered over the battlefield. From time to time, he would cut out 2 playful knives, teasing the battlefield. Then, I should also. Golden Lion Shiki's gaze fell on the center of the Island of Gods, the city belonging to the celestial dragons. However, he didn't wait for him to make any move. The next second, a raging shock wave suddenly came over him. The Golden Lion was so shocked that he broke into a cold sweat. He quickly ducked away and looked back. But I saw a giant Buddha rising slowly on the moonwalk. Don't even think about running away, Golden Lion Shiki. The great Buddha Sengoku roars. Chapter 121 Shinigami. God of Death. Hero Roger joins the battle. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. The center of the Island of Gods, the City of Gods. A total of 50,000 world government escort troops are distributed throughout the city. The whole city was guarded tightly. There are 2 seats on the main entrance wall of the City of Gods. 2 old men, standing and sitting together. The old man standing leaning on the city wall on the left is Marine Marshal Raymond. Even though the youth has been worn away by time, Raymond's heart was still full of passion. At this moment, on the city wall, watching the war breaking out in all directions, his heart was already burning with anxiety and his teeth were clenched. I can't wait to join the battlefield and fight. Fight against the Rocks pirate with your sailors. Let's throw our heads and shed our blood together. This is his true nature. However, these 20 years, he has been completely imprisoned and restrained by the marshals. 620, title. Can't be as free as before. Raymond, sit down for me. Your mission is to become the last bastion of this city. The sword-wielding old man sitting on the spacious and comfortable chair shouted in a deep voice. 5 elders, please allow me to step down from the position of marshal. From now on, I am just an ordinary veteran. My only mission is to reduce Marine casualties as much as possible. Marshal Raymond spoke quietly. He can't be as cold-blooded as 5 elders. He could no longer sit idly by. He wanted to go to war, even if he died. Stop, Raymond, think about your own state. Do you want to die? The sword-wielding warrior Lao Xing shouted in shock and anger. So what if he dies? If this troubled world can be brought to an end, just give him a life. Raymond smiled freely. This moment, his rickety figure suddenly collapsed. Tisk. Dark purple electric light flashed. Wait. Don't wait for the old sword-wielding star to say anything. Marshal Raymond activates Thunder Fruit Elementalization. A deep electric light streaked across the dark sky and rushed straight into the battlefield. Damn it, it's so counterintuitive, the sword-wielding samurai old star shouted angrily. The reason why he has been forcibly binding Marshal Raymond here. Defending the city with the help of Raymond's thundering ability is the next best thing. Not because he was worried that he would die in battle. It is better to say that for them, the sooner Raymond of the previous era dies, the better. He had only one main purpose for keeping Raymond here. That is to restrain and balance the Impel Down Shiro Yasha who will appear at some point. Half a month ago, they challenged Roger to war. Roger readily agreed. But then when they sent someone to pick him up, then I realized that Roger had already left Impel Down and was nowhere to be found. Until now, the war begins. Roger, the white yaksha who agreed to join the war, is still missing. This naturally doesn't allow 5 elders to think too much. What they are afraid of now is not that Roger will not come to fight. The sword-wielding samurai old star was afraid of Roger coming. Peeping in the dark, coveting the hidden things on this island. That's why he kept forcing Raymond to stay. The purpose is to rely on Raymond's face to prevent Roger from acting rashly when Roger comes. Now Marshal Raymond ignored his orders and entered the war. He was the only one left here. The sword-wielding warrior 5 elders began to panic. In my heart, I began to regret that I had volunteered to supervise the battle. After all, this is a long way from Mount Mariajoy. If Roger really comes, and if you take action against him. So, even he may not be able to escape. What should I do? How about running away? The old sword-wielding warrior star thought seriously. At this moment, the chaotic battlefield southeast of the Island of Gods. The sword is shining brightly. The sword energy is like rain. The picture is beautiful. It also carries a fatal risk. Those sharp sword lights and sword energy seem to be able to cut through the world. In front of the cold light, everyone is equal. Whether it's 10 million or 20 million little pirates. He is still a pirate captain with 100 million or 200 million. Or a big pirate worth 5,678 million. In front of that cold light, without exception, everything was of quality. The picture is bloody and horrific. This was a one-sided massacre. In front of that figure is ruthless as Shinigami. The pirates didn't even scream, their heads fell to the ground. Countless pirate corpses piled up in mountains. The endless spurting blood gathered into a river and flowed into the sea, dyeing the sea near the island of God red. Ah. The monster is coming. No, that's not a monster, that's a Shinigami. The god of death from hell is coming. The pirates screamed in horror one after another. After witnessing dozens or hundreds of pirates, big and small, fall under Roger's knife. The remaining pirates in this area no longer have the arrogance and madness they had before. There was no fighting spirit in his heart, only extreme shock and panic. Look at the other side. The Marines who witnessed Roger's unilateral massacre of pirates. After the initial shock, all the faces showed uncontrollable excitement. Although Roger's ruthless killings were terrifying, all the people he killed were pirates. Although I don't know who he is, he must be a partner. That's right. So far, the god of killing has killed all pirates for this reason. Not only did he kill the pirates, he also saved dozens or hundreds of our friends. That's our reinforcements. Do we actually have such powerful partners among our Marines? 2.6 inches no, that should be someone from the world government. The Marines were discussing the identity of the killing god, but there was still no conclusion. Until a certain moment. No, that person, that lord is neither the commander of our Marine nor the background of world government. That lord is Lord Roger. Master Roger. Wait a moment, is Roger the legendary hero? Ah, there can be no mistake. That is Sir Roger, the legendary director of Impel Down. The legendary hero Shirayasha who single-handedly ended the pirate rebellion 50 years ago. Now, 50 years later, the hero joins the war again. Oh. Long live the hero. Long live the hero Roger. Chapter 122 The name of Bai Yaksha resounds throughout the battlefield. Open black lens bracket please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. Hero Roger. Heroes are invincible. Long live the hero. The excited shouts of the sailors echoed in every corner of the battlefield and lasted for a long time. Listen to the shouts of the sailors. The panicked pirates finally knew the identity of the murderous man. What a joke. That man, he turned out to be. Captain, do you know? Who is that man? I heard from the pirates that he That person seems to be the director of Impel Down. As the director of the deep sea prison so terrifying. This is unrealistic. No, it's just because he is the director of Impel Down that it's scary. It can't be wrong. Roger Shirayasha. He is Roger Shirayasha. The man who ended the war 50 years ago and became a hero is still alive. Run. That is not an opponent we can deal with. Go find the Legion commanders. Hey, this is so embarrassing. We are the officers of Rock's pirate. You just said 23, that man is 50 years old, that is to say, he is already an old man. You may not look like an old man on the outside, but you won't change on the inside. He's just an old man. There's nothing to be afraid of. 4 great pirate captains with a bounty of over 600 million stood out. Either transforming into an ancient behemoth, or showing off Paramesh's special abilities, or wielding a proud famous sword, launching a ferocious attack on Roger like a storm. Facing the onslaught of pirate captains who are not afraid of death. Roger just raised his head slightly and glanced lightly. Then, they are dead. The black knife slashed across. Cut off 4 heads. Neatly. Click, click, click. 4 headless corpses fell. The blood-stained battlefield fell silent. Escape. Sure enough, it still doesn't work. The opponent is the legendary hero Shirayasha Roger. Damn it, that man even participated in the war. This news must be reported to Captain Rocks. The pirates dispersed in a hurry. With their escape, news about Yaksha's appearance on the battlefield also spread widely. Iron Fist. Garp strikes with both fists. Fight John's double swords and Silver Axe's silver axe at the same time. The terrifying power caused the earth to crack into deep ravines. However, Garp resisted, even facing 2 admiral-level experts with a bounty of over 2 billion at the same time. He still withstood and was actively attacking, trying to defeat him. Damn it, this guy with a flat head is a monster. Captain John gritted his teeth. And that armament hockey is stronger than before. He should have been eradicated 10 years ago. Silver Axe, who had had an encounter with Garp before, said solemnly. At this point, it's too late to say more. Let's go together. Defeat him. John narrowed his triangular eyes. Just what I wanted. Silver Axe strode forward. At this time, Captain John, Lord Silver Axe. Legion commanders, something serious has happened. Shirayasha appears. Several pirates who fled here screamed in panic. What Shirayasha? Do you need to be so panicked? Captain John was unimpressed. Wait a moment. The commander of the Second Army, Silver Axe, seemed to have thought of something. The expression under the silver-white helmet suddenly changed. Shirayasha, are you talking about the legendary hero Shirayasha Roger 50 years ago? Silver Axe screamed. Nani. Impel Down Shirayasha Roger Chester. The man that Mr. Beckett can't let go of until his death. Captain John finally reacted. Damn Shirayasha. I will kill Yaksha. Captain John and Silver Axe turned around with red eyes, about to break away from the battle. PFF'd ha 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 ha. The bold laughter flew through the air and blocked the 2 of them on their way. Your opponent is me. Don't try to hinder Mr. Roger. Garp grinned imposingly. What did you say? You are a disciple of Roger Yaksha. The commander of the 3rd Legion, Aokiji, stared at Zephyr not far away. So what? Zephyr responded calmly. Okay. Then let's start with you. Earth-shattering. Aokiji raised his hands high and swung his broadsword down, cutting open the earth. Teacher Roger. Finally here. Big Buddha Sengoku's face, which had been silent for a long time, showed a smile for the first time. On the other side, the commander of the 4th Army, Golden Lion Shiki. At this moment, his face was completely dark. Not armament hockey. But dense black lines. Shirayasha. Roger. Repeating the name in his mouth. Unbearable memories of the past flooded into my mind. Those dark histories that he didn't want to think about. Almost all of them are related to Shirayasha. That man seemed to be his nemesis. Golden Lion Shiki felt like his head was going to explode. 370 The battlefield of the Overlord and the Admiral, the Marshal. Not long ago, under the overwhelming power of the Sea Overlord Rocks. Admiral, who fought alongside Admiral Kong, who didn't even deserve a name, made a mistake and was seriously injured and defeated. Aware of this unexpected situation, Marshal Raymond quickly escaped from the battlefield. Get involved in the most terrifying Overlord battlefield. Only then did the 2-on-1 situation be maintained again. Rocks, the Overlord of the Sea, was not allowed to escape prematurely. The direction of the wind on the battlefield. This Overlord battlefield is also rumored. La ha 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 ha. Overlord of the Sea Rocks smiled, laughing with a look of madness on his face. What's so funny? Marshal Raymond shouted in a deep voice. Uncle Roger is here, and it will be your end, Rocks. Admiral Kong shouted angrily. Okay, good time. It's great that Shirayasha bastard is still alive. Now, Mr. Beckett's grudge against him for the kick he committed 50 years ago can finally be avenged. Rocks, the Overlord of the Sea, laughed happily. Under the stimulation of high emotions. Everything within a radius of 100 meters around it was torn apart. Chapter 123 The Goddess He Wei. Roger is coming from heaven. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe. Close black lens bracket. Advertise here. Island of Gods. The war is in full swing. Southeast Inland Battlefield. This is a mid-level battlefield. The Vice Admiral of Naval Headquarters and the CP experts of World Government are guarding this place. Facing the Rocks Pirates Legion commanders. The World Government escort team and CP strong men face the commanders of the 5th and 6th armies. The Marine elite, headed by the goddess Vice Admiral Crane and other Vice Admirals, faced off against the Rocks Pirates 7th, 8th and 93rd Legions. The 7th Legion, the Beast Legion, has 80 members. All of them are zone ability users. The commander of the 7th Legion is also a user with the ability to form the ancient mammoth form of the zone elephant fruit, the same as Jack the Drow of the later Beasts Pirates. The 8th Legion, the Transformation Legion, with 50 members. The members of the Legion are all freaks, and they can be called a collection of variants. Even worse than Frankie, the later generation reformer. The weapons hidden in their bodies that have been modified by advanced technology are also 5 Flower 8 Gate. No one knows where and what kind of weapons they will pull out in the next second. Even if a large sniper is suddenly pulled out from a local area, no one will be surprised. Among all the weirdos, the commander of the 8th Army is relatively human-like in appearance. What he received was not a physical transformation, but a bloodline factor transformation recently discovered by MADS, a secret scientific research team in the New World. Perhaps not many people are familiar with the name of the organization MADS. But if you are one of the team leaders, there will be no one who doesn't recognize him. The leader of the MADS scientific research team is Vegapunk, a genius scientist who claims to have led the world in scientific power for 500 years. Vinsmoke Judge, the prince of the kingdom of Germa, and Plague Quinn, the later third in command of the Beasts Pirates, are also members of MADS. Although they did not directly participate in this war, the 8th Legion under Rocks Pirate was born based on their technology. The final 9th Legion is equally unique. This is a team composed entirely of handsome men and beautiful women. The core of the team is the commander of the 9th Army. The maintenance of team relations relies on the ability of the Legion leader, the ability of Paramesh's Sweet Fruit. Although Rocks Pirates 7th, 8th and 93rd Legions did not have the overwhelming strength of the former 6th Legion commander. But in team combat, the combat power is definitely not weak. It has been an hour since the war on the Island of Gods began. The 3rd Army Corps advanced steadily. Now it is only 10 miles away from the central city. The Marine elite generals responsible for blocking them also suffered heavy casualties. 7 Naval Headquarters Vice Admirals. Only 3 people are still active today. The only one who retains considerable combat power is Vice Admiral Crane. Xiaohei, we can no longer defend this place. You don't have to worry about us. With your strength, you can easily break through. The old man who has been the Vice Admiral since the last era said solemnly. We old bones will fall here if we fall here. New generations like you still have an unlimited future. Marine's future depends on you. You don't need to risk your life here. Go ahead, Xiaohei. Another equally old Vice Admiral smiled carelessly, already putting life and death at a loss. Yes, Crane Vice Admiral, you have done well enough. With your planning, we have already given a head-on blow to those damn pirates. Leave this battlefield to us. The other generals who were still standing spoke one after another. Volunteered to pave the way for Vice Admiral Crane. Vice Admiral he pursed his red lips and said nothing. Let her abandon her companions on the battlefield and run away alone. I don't want this kind of thing even if I die. It's too late to escape now. A cold voice sounded in the sky, and the commander of the 8th Army of Shamat, wearing a special combat uniform, stood in the air with his arms folded. Hold head high. An ancient roar came, led by the ancient mammoth. The beasts brought up a cloud of flying dust. That was the commander of the 7th Mammoth Legion and his army of beasts. You have no way to escape, Marine. Heart-shaped pink petals fell all over the sky. The commander of the 9th Legion held a red rose in his hand and arrived surrounded by handsome men and beautiful women believers. You Marines are already proud enough to have caused such huge losses to us, but that's the end of it. The commander of the 7th Mammoth Legion changes into a mammoth human form. There is also a top-notch flower of the high mountains in Marine. It's really intolerable. That Marine Vice Admiral is mine. The commander of the 9th Legion, who possesses the ability of Sweet Fruit, spoke commandingly. Asterisk, what did you say? Crane Vice Admiral is not your thing. She is our Marine's goddess. A group of naval officers yelled angrily. Is that true? Even a handsome man like me can't have it. The commander of the 9th Legion opened and closed his narrow eyes. There seems to be some mysterious power spreading somewhere. The sailors who were scolding angrily one second turned red in the face and lowered their heads in embarrassment the next. Then suddenly petrified. Ha 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 ha. Indeed in this world, no one can resist my handsome appearance. Only handsomeness is the truth. Come over here and become my prisoner. The commander of the 9th Legion spread out the 5 fingers of his right hand and exerted all his charm power on the Vice Admiral Crane. However, the expected petrification did not appear. Remarkable. Vice Admiral he just looked at him coldly from beginning to end, with murderous intent growing. Tick-tock. The red blood dripped down Vice Admiral Crane's delicate hands and fell to the ground. So it turns out that she is using pain to divert attention. She is such an amazing woman. I really like her more and more. The interest on the face of the commander of the Ninth Army grew stronger, and his smile gradually widened. But the next second, cemetery. There wasn't the slightest warning. A big foot fell from the sky. It covered the long and narrow horse face of the commander of the Ninth Legion of Mr. Kong Kong. His whole body was planted into the earth like an onion. I can hear you chirping like a bitch from afar. It's really noisy. Roger drank coldly. The big foot twisted the horse's face twice, causing it to completely twist and deform. Chapter 124. Marine is shocked and excited. The pirates were stunned and stunned. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. I heard you, a damn bitch, chirping here from all the way. It's bad luck. Roger spat, without directly crushing the opponent's head. His big feet wiggled wildly on his horse's face. The step caused his skull to crack, his jaw to deform, and his nose to shatter. The unforgettable pain hit his mind, but he couldn't even scream. Paramesha is a sweet fruit, and Roger is naturally familiar with this ability. Later Shichibukai, the signature ability of the pirate empress Boa Hancock. With the blessing of sweet fruits, its already outstanding beauty becomes even more outstanding. Although the pirate empress has a slightly bad character, at least her appearance is impeccable, enough to confuse all living beings. In women, this ability is naturally pleasing to the eye. But if a man gets this ability, put on various narcissistic postures, claims to be the most handsome in the world, even Roger couldn't stand it. He had to come down from the sky and give him a kick. It took a while, only then did Roger move his big foot away from the distorted and deformed face of Mr. Empty. Under the horrified and shocked gazes of the pirates and marines, they walked straight towards the Vice Admiral Crane. Teacher. Under the dumbfounded gazes of the sailors, Vice Admiral moved lightly, carrying a gust of fragrant wind, and threw himself into Roger's arms. This moment. 140 The always cold goddess Vice Admiral Crane. Take off that cold defense. A bright and beautiful smile bloomed on her straight pretty face. The sailors who were still standing in the room could not help but stare blankly. Really, you're such a big man, so stop acting like a spoiled brat, Xiaohei. Roger's big hand gently caressed Vice Admiral Crane's head. Hee. In front of the teacher, I will always be 18. Vice Admiral, he chuckled. Roger shook his head helplessly. Grab Xiaohei's right hand, in order to resist the sweet fruit ability of the Ninth Legion commander. Vice Admiral, there was a dagger standing in the palm of the Crane's hand. There was a lot of blood. Roger said nothing. He took out some bottles and cans from his pocket. Sprinkle some numbing powder around the wound. Pull out the dagger. Quickly sprinkle on hemostatic powder. Then carefully wrap it with gauze. A series of therapeutic actions flow like clouds and flowing water, and the day and night are in harmony. Does it hurt? Roger asked. The teacher bandaged me, how could it hurt? It's just like the first time, it doesn't hurt at all. Vice Admiral, he said matter-of-factly. Roger. CDAB, of course he knew that Xiaohei was talking about the first time he bandaged her. But when this sentence is heard in other people's ears, it is inevitable. No, it will definitely cause ambiguity. This is not. Alas, alas. Who is that person? What is his relationship with the Crane goddess? Is he the goddess's boyfriend? First time. Oh, no, my goddess. The faces of the marine generals recruited from all over the world were full of shock and disbelief. I dare not accept the fact that the goddess of my dreams is already married. Hey, what are you talking about? That gentleman is Sir Roger. Several veterans scolded. Roger. The recruits tilted their heads. I just feel like I've heard this name somewhere, but also like I've never heard it before. Lord Roger. The old Vice Admiral, who was over 70 years old, stepped forward tremblingly. Frey, long time no see. You are so old, so you should take care of yourself. Roger smiled slightly. Name the old Vice Admiral. That distant 50 years ago. Vice Admiral Frey was once a young officer on old Carl's ship. Yes, Master Roger, I am Frey. Unexpectedly, Roger could recognize him and even remember his name. Old Frey couldn't help but be moved to tears. Master Roger, there is me, I am Ian. 50 years ago during the Battle of Saiken Island, you saved me. Vice Admiral Old Ian spoke excitedly. Roger smiled happily and nodded. For these Marine veterans, he remembered them all. Lord Roger, there's me and there's me. I used to go Impel Down. I am the 10th Marine exchange student from Impel Down. The originally low morale of the veterans on the battlefield returned, and their emotions gradually became high. Seniors, who is that gentleman? The young elite recruits are still a little confused at the moment. Idiot, haven't you realized it yet? That gentleman is none other than Mr. Roger, the director of Impel Down. Impel Down, the most legendary heroic director in 800 years of history. 50 years ago, I almost single-handedly turned the tide and ended the war zone. The legendary hero who ended the era of 6 kings, Shirayasha Roger. The veterans were talking all over the place, with almost fanatical admiration on their faces. The recruits, who finally understood what kind of person Roger was, couldn't help but show shock and excitement on their faces. They were shocked by Roger's glorious past achievements. At the same time, he was also excited about the assistance from such a legendary figure. There was nothing to fear now. Tens of meters away. The commanders of the 7th Army, Mammoth, and the 8th Army slowly withdrew their gazes from Master Kong. To date, they still don't know how Roger managed to escape their knowledge and perception quietly. With one blow, they destroyed the commander of the 9th Legion who was as famous as them. Shirayasha, Roger, what is that? The Mammoth man had a look of confusion on his face. The reinforcements from just one person gave Marine such confidence. It seems that the opponent does have 2 tricks up his sleeve. The commander of the 8th Army said solemnly, with a solemn look on his face, not daring to look down upon Roger in the slightest. Legion commanders. At this moment, an embarrassed voice came from far away. A pirate who was the correspondent of the Rocks Regiment rolled and crawled onto the battlefield. Report, Legion commanders, something serious has happened. Yasha. Roger Yasha is here, please be extremely careful. Correspondent pirate shouted loudly. The words fell. The whole place couldn't help but fall into silence. Roger Shirayasha. The pirates, eyes unconsciously locked on Roger in the marine camp not far away. Yes, a legendary hero born in Impel Down. Roger Shirayasha. He is an old monster that even Captain Rocks must be on guard against. Correspondent Hai Bing said to himself. Finished. Only then did he realize that there seemed to be something wrong with the atmosphere. Follow the gaze of the fellow pirates. He saw Roger in Marine's camp. His head was buzzing. Bye Yaksha, ah. The communication pirate rolled his eyes and fainted on the spot from fright. Well, it's almost time to start. Which of you wants to die first? Roger invited with a smile. Chapter 125 Conqueror's Entanglement. Destroy the enemy with one finger. The true meaning of thunder. Open black lens bracket. Please subscribe close black lens bracket. Advertise here. Impel Down Director. White Yasha Roger. A legend from 50 years ago. A heroic legend that even Captain Rocks must be prepared for. Mammoth, the commander of the 7th Legion, the commander of the 8th Legion, and the pirates under their command. At this moment, after hearing the reminder from the liaison officer, everyone's head was buzzing involuntarily. I thought it would be over if the person who came here had some strength. However, I never thought about it. Marine's reinforcements this time are actually so big. Even Captain Rocks has to be on guard. This single sentence echoed in the minds of the pirates. Compared with illusory titles such as heroes and legends. The comparison in this sentence is more direct. At the same time, it is even more shocking and horrifying. After all, the person participating in the battle is Rocks. Ocean Overlord Rocks, their captain, the strongest man in this sea. What a joke. Breaking through the blood factor, the commander of the 8th Army, who gained superhuman strength, screamed uncontrollably. Good enough to rival Captain Rocks. There is no such person in this world. The Mammoth Man, commander of the 7th Army, shouted angrily. Don't be affected by the rumors. Our captain, Ocean Overlord Rocks, is truly the strongest. No one can compare with him. Yes, Captain Rocks is the strongest. What a legendary hero. What Shirayasha Roger? Never heard of it at all. Go, kill them all. All beasts gallop. The commander of the 7th Legion transformed into an ancient mammoth. 4 hooves move. The terrifying power shattered the ground. Behind him, beasts roared. It swept towards Marine with boundless ferocity. Go to hell, Shirayasha. The giant mammoth approaches. The forelimbs suddenly raised high. With a terrifying giant that could flatten the mountain, it fell on Roger's head. In response to the ancient mammoth's fierce attack, Roger just calmly raised his right hand. Index finger, point out with one finger. The huge figure of the ancient mammoth immediately stopped and hung awkwardly in the air. No matter how hard he exerts himself, never let anything go missing. Ding! A little shimmer shines. Pure white lightning loomed and wrapped around the tip of the index finger of Roger's right hand. The next second, the horrifying scene happened again. When the pure white lightning between Roger disappeared into the mammoth's body, the huge figure of the ancient mammoth suddenly stopped. Then, under the impact of some invisible force, he suddenly fell backwards. It landed heavily on the battlefield. Ah. Mammoth, commander of the 7th Army, opened and closed his mouth, but did not even scream. Just rolled his eyes, completely seriously injured and comatose. Derived from the armed colors and conquerors, the entwining power of the 2 colors shattered its interior into a complete mess. If it weren't for the vitality of Zone's ancient species, others would have been dead. Another powerful Legion commander fell. The huge battlefield suddenly fell into deathly silence. I don't know how much time has passed. Oh. People on Marine's side burst into excited cheers. As expected of Teacher Roger. Vice Admiral Crane smiled brightly. Roger Sama, Hockey. This is the power of the legendary hero. Wake up, pirates. You have no way to escape. Get in line for me and wait until you enter Impel Down to reflect. The morale of Marine's soldiers is high. Launch a violent counterattack like a storm against the Lost Rocks pirates, whose faces were full of horror and horror. How so? The Legion commander is an esper of the Zone ancient species. The mammoth's defense is unparalleled, no one is afraid of it. Why did he fall down? The other party just used one finger. Destroyed the Legion commander with just one finger. Is this the power of a hero on par with Captain Rox? The rumors are true. Roger Shirayasha, we can't win. Run. The beasts who witnessed the defeat of the Legion commander were so defeated that they chose to escape and save their lives without hesitation. The battlefield situation reversed instantly. Don't even think about escaping. Just let me cleanse your filthy souls. Vice Admiral Crane's slender hands are intertwined. Paramesh's washing fruit ability is activated. Please give me flowers. Any pirate touched by her delicate hands. All will be as fresh as washed clothes and as thin as cicada wings. Complete cleansing from appearance to soul. The beast army is nothing to fear. Roger's eyes then fell on the 8th Transformation Legion. The commander of the 8th Army, who had improved his bloodline factor, had tense muscles all over his body. The power of the battle suit was fully activated, and he fled without hesitation. However, no matter how fast he is. But it couldn't be faster than that flash of lightning. The previous pure white lightning was the special effect of Conqueror's entanglement. Now this purple thunder connecting the sky and the earth is the real power of thunder. LV4. The true meaning of thunder. Just one click. Click. Boom. 0. The commander of the 8th Army was struck down by lightning. The battle uniform that was far from perfect was in tatters. The explosion of the battle suit alone caused him to lose his ability to fight. Boom. Deep purple thunder raged. Bizarre modifications overload the circuits in people's bodies. Some crashed, and some even exploded on the spot. In the blink of an eye, the 8th Legion of Rox was destroyed. Damn it, damn bastard, be petrified under my feet. A vague but full of spiteful words sounded. The commander of the 9th Army, who was kicked into the ground by Roger not long ago, did a sit-up. He stood up with his distorted and extremely ugly head. He held on and activated the sweet fruit ability on Roger. To this, Roger's heart remained unmoved. I even wanted to laugh a little bit. Mero Mello's petrification ability is to make the other person fall in love with the person with the ability. However, with his current bear-like appearance, even dogs would find him disgusted. The sweet fruit ability naturally fails. Not to mention that his current opponent is Roger. How is this kind of thing possible? Kang. The sharp black sword light flashed away. The body of the commander of Rox, 9th Legion was divided into 2 parts from the middle. A waterfall of blood. Whoosh. A red devil fruit ability attribute card explodes. The distance is very close, and the system automatically picks it up directly. Congratulations on obtaining the Paramesh's sweet fruit ability 1.